What's good? Tell me how I sound. Tell me how I sound.
Sound clear on my end.
Okay. How about y'all in the chat? How do we sound? How do we
Testing one,
sound?
two, testing one, two.
Okay, I see Dan My Opinion, Lisa J. Stocks, Living Life to the Fullest, Defrauding, Dr. Nikki. Okay, we sound good. We sound good. Okay. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, play. I'm good. I can't complain. Enjoying this Sunday, trying to stay warm. What about you?
Yeah, I was pretty much warm. Like I said, in the back, I had to take me a quick little nap to get going, old man stuff, old man shit. You'll get there one day. You'll get there one day. How's everybody doing? Let me see. Is that music bothering you?
No, it's good. I can't even hear, but no, it's good.
Okay, cool. All right, y'all. So, what are we here for today? This is the first episode. Hopefully, we'll do more of these. And me and Slanda got together. We calling it Stream or Skip. And this is where we're gonna review either movies, TV shows, as you saw in the little intro, anime, drama, horror, everything. I put romance in there. I mean, we are we gonna be able to
I
cover?
will watch anything. Y'all recommend it, I will watch it. I promise.
Okay. So we gonna be able to. I'll just
Yeah, we
make.
gotta help the ladies out. We gotta help the ladies.
Okay. And listen, the brother love the ladies. Brother love the ladies. Hey, what's up, Keeper? How you doing? Um, So yeah, we want to review different shows, different movies, and we still haven't decided if we're gonna do the live stream or we're gonna just do recording uploads. I do like the idea. You brought it to my attention, like just let's do the uploads. I do like that idea.
Just from what I've seen on YouTube, that just gets pushed more. Because, like, if I'm watching something on here that's not like sector related, it's an upload. Like
Yeah.
all the review channels and all that. Yeah. But hey, the rush. Hey, but I did, what, earlier I did check to see if anybody had did any reviews on this,
Mm.
and nobody has. So hey, this might work.
Okay. So then I'll leave the editing and cutting up to you to make a 10 minute like a
Yeah.
little take this and chop it up. Make a little 10-minute video. So if we was doing the uploads, then we would probably be doing like maybe we could do like actually have footage and comment on the footage. I don't know how that would work
Yeah.
on the live stream.
Like I said, everybody's different. Like you said, some people do 10 minutes. I've seen some people who do 20 or 30. That's the one thing about the analytics. It'll literally tell you what your people like, how long they watch, like from what duration and whatnot. It's just, just gonna have to test a few things out and see what sticks.
Yeah, and because I know like for the most part, once the live streams are done, it's kind of what I'm saying, you really don't get that much traction unless specific things maybe, but
What's that thing they like to call the uploads and stuff? Evergreen content.
yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah. So, but I think this. So what I did was, well, I'll say that after we get started. Um, but yeah, so this is the first show. Hopefully, we'll be able to do more. I can't promise a particular day because my schedule is crazy, but we will work behind the scenes to try to figure out something where people know a time and place where they can do
Oh
it,
yeah,
where they
yeah,
can
yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll do my best to make sure that even if we don't have so say today's Sunday, if we was to do it every Sunday at this time, that'd be great because people know where to find us. But if
Yeah.
not, I'll promote the hell out of it. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. And
that's all.
see, and if we go the live stream, or not the live stream, the upload route, we ain't gotta worry about that.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about that too because we could have like today
We
from
could have recorded all day, you feel me, had uploads for like the next month or two.
episode 1 through 10. We could have
Yeah.
each episode. So yeah, no, I think you onto something like that. I don't know. I haven't grasped the idea yet of doing the I should have by now, but I haven't doing the uploads.
Someone good to talk to that about with is Make a Change.
Okay. Okay.
He was on my neck about that with the Not a Sector show. You need to chop them up, do them in uploads, change
Yeah.
your names.
Yeah.
I'll let Matt.
Okay. If I see him, yeah, I'll definitely reach out to him. because I definitely want to. I know I'm looking to grow.
Oh, of course. That's why
Um,
we are here.
yes, sir. There should be an option where we could stream from. Do you have anything saying that you could stream to your channel if you wanted to do that?
Oh, we ain't gotta do the duels lives and all
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I figure while we up here, everybody get a little watch time hours, Um, but okay, so yeah, I'm rambling a little bit, but today,
Pretty good. It's first
we,
show.
yep, first show, work out all the kinks, and today we're gonna be doing Aaron Hernandez. I don't know if everybody is familiar with Aaron Hernandez and his story. If y'all could put if you are not familiar with his story in the chat, so I just want to gauge
Yeah.
how
And
familiar.
has anybody in the chat seen the show?
Right. Yeah, just let me know, and then we'll go from there.
Because I feel like a lot of people know the name, not necessarily know the story,
Yeah,
know some of it, but
right. Yeah, and there's a lot of I found way more material than and I was trying to like not mix what we're going to be talking about with what I
oh
know,
yeah,
because
there's a
but
lot of documentaries out there.
yeah, do you know there's a whole page of his like prison calls?
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
there's a YouTube page that got his recorded calls, him talking to his mother, I think his brother, his fiance, like from behind the wall when he was locked up. So
No, see, it's crazy to me that a lot of people might not know about it because when this all happened, it was a big story, but it wasn't. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you heard about it when it initially happened. Some people followed it after, but then, like, after the trial and whatnot, it got all the publicity. Then that's when all the documentaries and whatnot started coming. But like I said, it's like a big story, but it's not. If you get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, I'm a football fan. So and plus I'm in Connecticut, and Bristol is right up the way from here. So I was definitely familiar with his story, and just to give you an idea how good he was,
Believe
Connecticut, like football is not Connecticut is not a like where pros really come from like that. There's a couple of them came from here, but usually Texas, California, even like New Jersey. But so you have to be good to be able to. So that's how good he was. But so it's looking like so defrauding doesn't.
Frauden doesn't know.
Yeah,
PS does.
okay.
Living knows the name, but she doesn't know what he did. Keeper knows. Lisa says she's up with the story. So, okay, I guess a lot of y'all haven't seen the show.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
before we get to it, definitely, if you have Hulu, go watch it. It's an American sports story, Aaron Hernandez. It's
Mm.
from the guy Ryan Murphy. He does the American Horror Story, American Crime Story, all that stuff. Definitely watch it. It's a good watch. I will give it that. Like, is it a documentary with some of the stuff probably exaggerated? Yes, because it's a show. They got to spice it up a little bit. But I thoroughly enjoyed the show. You feel me? Like it. I thought it was a good show. What about you?
Yeah, no, it was good. Like I watched the first episode. It was a little bit between the time I watched the first episode and then um like 3 to 5. But when I watched, I'm sorry, it's 2 to 5. But when I watched 2, 3, 4, it was like boom, 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 back to back to back.
Nah, FX. They definitely did their thing with that. So you saw it too, Dr. Nikki? Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was like I said, it was because if you kind of know the story and what about him, like it's like, okay, are they gonna like overdo it or they just gonna
Yeah, yeah,
let it happen? And you feel me? Like it was in there, but they did not overdo it. Like yeah, they insinuated it, and like I mean, it's a part of his story. It was part of everything that came out about him. But the
right.
way they did it, you feel me? They did it in a good way. Like I said, it wasn't overdone. You like, oh shit, like damn, and it kind of explains like some of the issues with him. We'll talk about that later into the show.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It right off the rip though, like what I'm saying, right off the rip, him with the homie in the car, and I was like, okay, they gonna go right for it, and then I like
Him and his dad, like, yeah.
and I like the back and forth. I like stories that go back and forth from current to past because it kind and they drop those little past scenes in there to correlate which what you watching at that particular point. It's like, okay, this is why, or this may be some of the reasons why he's doing what they're doing, but they try to correlate.
Yeah.
Um, and let's see. Yeah, that's because that dude been a punk.
And I agree with you. I like when story because a lot of stories try that and it just does not work. Now every now and then you'll get one that does and they knock it out the park like this one. But
Yeah, yeah. All right, so cool. All right, so people is fairly so out of the 15 people here, about half are familiar with it. So yeah, if y'all want to, because this is we're doing 1 through 5 today. So
yeah, 1 through 5.
right, so we're gonna do 5 through 10. So if you didn't see it, and after today, you can go watch 5 to 10. We'll kind of get you caught up 1 through 5 now, and then you can watch 5 through 10, and then next time we do it, you know, conversation and things make a little bit more sense. And but so okay, so where do you want to start at?
I mean, fuck, we can talk about episode 1, like you said, how it just let me see where are my notes at. All right, so episode 1, it started off with him, his brother, and his dad like working out and whatnot. They were running.
Right.
And so they're running, they're working out. I guess he let his older brother beat him, and his
Yeah.
dad was. Do you feel like his dad was a strict parent? Like, how you feel about like his father? Like,
I think his pops was it seemed like it, his whatever was going on, whatever happened in his pop's life affected the way he was fathering them.
yeah,
And his messaging seemed like, I'm saying, possibly he messed some stuff up. He messed his life up, or he did something where
oh
he was
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
hard on them. Because Bristol is I want to say it's not known for like a lot of gang activity. I mean, it's kind of close to Hartford and stuff like that, but
yeah.
Bristol, Connecticut is not really so. The way he was harsh on them wouldn't have made sense. Like if you had to, like if you lived in an area where your pops or your moms had to stay on you, because once you walked out the door, it was going to be some things that you had to deal with. I get it, but like his father seemed to be. And I thought he was a good pops. I didn't.
Yeah, his heart was in the right place. I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah. I said all that. You said what I. You said what I
No,
wanted.
no, no, no. I mean, that's not his real shit. Cause like his methods were bad. You feel me? The way he went about stuff was terrible. But again, his heart was in the right place.
Yeah, and yeah. So I thought his pops was good. So that's good that you got notes. I was gonna because I watched what you do before, watch your other shows, and I know you.
Yeah.
I said I'm a lean into you. I do some production, but I'm gonna lean into you because I think you're gonna spark really really good conversation. So
Okay. So I misled y'all. That was not the opening scene. The opening scene was he shot a guy in the face. Then he was at an award ceremony. So this is literally 5 minutes in. Me
right,
personally, I'm hooked.
yeah, that's what I was
I'm
saying.
hooked.
They went right there. They went right there. Boom, shot his friend. Now he's at, and then the friend didn't die. They calling him from the hospital bed.
Well,
Saying,
even with that scene, like, how you gotta be real fucked up in the head because he literally just grabbed his body out the car and just threw it on the ground and left. He didn't try to hide it. I mean, he changed his clothes and all that. He was smart enough to do that, but other than that, he just
yeah, they
how fuck
they
it gone.
yeah, and dude was asleep and woke up. Like, you know what I'm saying? He drove him somewhere while dude was sleeping. And imagine that you wake up to your people with a gun in their face and then they just shoot you. So he would, and they let you know, like you said, he just went to some show or whatever, and like let you know he might be dealing with like a sociopath or a psychopath type of person for him to be able to divorce himself from that immediately and then go and do interviews and it was a lot of that. Like a lot of the stuff he did, he would just or what he was doing outside of the home, he would just go home to the girlfriend or he would just go to practice and something like that right after doing something crazy.
Now, do you feel like you said he was a sociopath? Do you feel like it was that, or was it the CTE?
Um, they so
Because
I wanted to ask you if you feel like they because they did a lot of like you know, showed you like dizzy camera video.
yeah,
They did a lot of that to kind of let you know that something was going on. And I was wondering if that was done, if that was a Hollywood thing, or was that something from based off of people that knew him that talked to them and told them that he was experiencing that. Like he might have shared that with them.
I'm not sure because I mean it did come out that he had it, but see, I don't know because like in the show they insinuated that that shit started in high school.
Right, right, and I believe that that's what the when I was that's another thing too. I was looking up CTE and watching interviews and stuff like that. They say that it starts from it's not something that happened like just
Oh
when he
yeah,
was
over
in
time.
the NFL. Yeah, it was something that he had been experiencing. It's something it's a football thing, or anytime you bang your head like that. And when you're younger too, especially tackling is probably not the best. As you get more advanced, they teach you better ways of technique and tackling and stuff like that, just to preserve your head and your neck.
And
But
you got to think he was a wide receiver, so he's getting hit.
yeah, yeah, and he
You
was a
can't
big
avoid
build.
it.
He was. I mean, he was a real big
Big
builder.
motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I think part of it might have been the CT, but he I don't know if they really there's also something else they revealed too that might have been, why he was angry a lot too with
Oh
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one thing I will say. Like as far as his issues, I feel like they did a really good balance playing with the CT, the drugs, and the paranoia.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, like it was to me, it was really a balance because you see like something I put here on the side is he smoked more weed than me. I feel like every scene we saw him in, after a certain point, he had a blunt or a joint in his hand, just
Running,
smoking,
smoking.
smoking.
That was like a cigarette. Like it was for him. He was a
I
chain.
didn't even know niggas in the league could smoke like that.
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean, you hear about it and shit, like with Marshawn Lynch and all, like you hear stories and whatnot, but he was smoking tough
every day. Every day,
all
a couple of
day.
times a day, he wake up before he ate, just pull off a blunt, start smoking, sit there, watch the news. Like he was, yeah, yeah. I don't believe that he smoked
Nah,
more than you though, but go ahead.
nah. I honestly, like he smoked way more than me. Like I that no, that just took me out because, like I said, you really at one point, like you said, it's like a cigarette at one point.
Yeah,
Every fucking scene.
yeah,
Oh no, that's what I was talking about with the paranoia, Chad. The paranoia of that. We'll talk about that too, because he was violent because he got caught up in the library and shit. Like, no, we're gonna get to it.
yeah,
We're gonna get to it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The fuck? Okay, now okay, so now let's go back to his father. His heart's in the right place. What are your thoughts on how he was doing the recruiters from other schools?
So that's the other thing too. At the time, UConn was not um football wise, they're still not known as a good football school. And I understand why he wanted them to, I guess, go to UConn because it's a state school and everything like that. But if you really gonna, if his pops wanted him to go to the league, don't get me wrong, he was talented enough that um, he would get eyes on him. He definitely get eyes on him being from Connecticut
He
because
was talented enough. His brother got into a school because of him. That's
right,
how bad they wanted him.
yeah, he was gonna dominate. But when you don't go to those big schools, they tend to look at the competition. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought his pops was a. I thought I understand why he wanted to keep him close, but I think overall, I think his pops was a little too. You know what? I don't. I'm on the fence about that because we know how the recruiting thing is, and we know how college football was and still is back then. So I'm not sure how I feel if his pops was too hard or if he was doing the right thing by just saying, "Nah, just stay home."
Now, was his father being like protective, or was he trying to, like live his dream that he didn't get to do?
I think a little bit of it. I think a little bit of it. But also too, when you are that one, we've seen that over and over. When that person in the family or that person in the group is the one, um, everybody latches on, especially the people that didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? or
When do you
either.
think you know though, like as a parent, like, oh shit, my kid might really have a chance to go fucking pro? When do
Well,
you think that hits a parent?
I don't know because I think initially everybody thinks that, but when you, I think when you see the competition, so like,
Stop it. Some point you gotta be like, yeah, that's my son. I love him, but
yeah, when you see the
he's trash.
yeah, when you see the competition. So like, just to give you an idea, I was a once upon a time I was a really good high school football player, right?
Yeah.
And I was playing in an all-star game with people from other states. And so we went to the practice, and I'm 6'3". At the time, I was a tight end and a strong safety. At the time, I'm 6'3", probably like 198. And when they called the tight ends, them boys from like other states came out. And they called all the tight ends to come on the field. Talking about 6'5", 6'6", 260, 250, solid muscle. So there's a difference, and you can see it. So I think because he was able to stand out, I think you could see a standout. There's a different. It just looks different. You know when you watching something looks different on film. That'll stand out. So I think his pops knew. I think he knew he was better than the brother. But
Oh, definitely.
I think I think that he wanted him there. I think like what was it Chad was saying. Um, he wanted to keep him close, and I think having him there with his brother, probably his pops probably thought that would have been a good thing, that like maybe his brother could
Someone to watch him.
yeah,
Okay, now father dies.
that's big.
Going in for hernia surgery, father dies. Now I put in my notes, was that a blessing in disguise? Just because, he was abusive to the mother, just some of the ways that he acted and whatnot towards Aaron.
So I think Aaron needed, if you see a common theme was that people kept letting them get away with stuff. I looked the other way, and
That was a big role.
his pops didn't seem to let him get his pops was like hard on him. His pops didn't seem to let him get away with anything.
Oh no.
So I think, where maybe, and remember too, he went out, he left a year earlier. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
left high school a year earlier. So I don't think he would have done that if his pops was alive. I think he needed another year. So you just think, you 17 and you get turned loose on a campus of Florida.
I mean, what he did is expected of him. I mean, you heard the coach tell his mother, "I'm gonna watch him. I'm gonna take care of him." I feel like we got to put some of that on the coach because you didn't watch him. You did, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, he went out there and he ran rampant,
Yeah. He
racking up charges, all that. Like,
smacking the punching he just smacked the bartender in the head, and from what I understand, he like broke the dude's eardrum or something like that. And
he a big motherfucker.
yeah, but I mean, just to be able to be like, hey, to have that guy come in there and laugh it off and say, don't worry about it. Like, you got to feel like your chest got to go out. Like, oh yeah,
Sideline tickets, and it's
yeah.
all gone. That's wild.
You got to, but as the individual at that age, you got to feel like, oh yeah, oh okay, I'm important, and I'm going to be able to do what I want. And you saw that with the rest of the which that college, that freshman class.
When they said the names, it was Tebow, Cam Newton, I was like, damn, it's an all-star team right here.
Pouncey brothers, those offensive tackles, and Cam Newton was the backup.
Like,
Cam,
no. When they said those names, I said, oh shit, okay.
like, so they ran, they ran crazy out there in Florida. So I don't even think that they didn't have time to get into it. They let you know, but if there's stories to be told, they just went crazy out there. I know I would have. I'm not even gonna act like I wouldn't.
That brother, any young man that has grown up in the fucking code, you go down south, you got a full ride, like you're gonna act like that. Like you're away from your parents. You're in fucking Florida for one thing. Like, oh yeah, that's anybody would have did that. Except if you're Tim Tebow, you go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, you need it. There's always a Tim Tebow somewhere. So now, Chad, you think do you with saying this, Chad, do you think that it was a good thing that he went out there? Like from what you know, and
No,
if you
I agree with Chad
already
said because the whole uncle and her, and then him, and it's a fucked up situation because it's not like it's just his aunt. Like he's super close to that aunt. He considers her like a second mother. Like
know,
that's his safe haven away from his parents when they're on their bullshit. So yeah, that situation, that makes it 10 times more fucked up.
yeah, all right, yeah. He did, and that's the thing. And plus he was the one. Like when you the one, like that much pressure on you, and then he's living a secret life, right?
Yep.
He's trying to honor his father at the same time. You know, he was having them flashbacks of his delusions of his pops talking to him,
That
like
was crazy.
a lot of pressure. And you forget that these were years from 17 to 20 before he got in the league when he was 20. So all this stuff before he got in the league was 17, from age 17 to 20, as far as when it really got turned up. So that's like you really, really young at that point. So he
And
was
then what's fucked up too about it, like Chad said, he starts hanging with the gang members, and all the gang members respect his father because of the bid he did back in the day.
Mhm.
So of course they're all gonna embrace him, show him love, and fuck with him and whatnot. So it was just, it. I almost want to say he was doomed from start. So let me ask you this: if his bro, if, well, not if his father was alive, would he still be here right now? Would Aaron Hernandez still be in the league right now?
um
Just a hypothetical.
I think his pops dying was a big deal. I don't think he feared anybody like he feared his pops, and had the respect for his pops. Even though his pops was hard on him, I don't think there was anybody that, even like um Urban Meyer, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he feared, or and anybody like he feared his pops, or had the respect for anybody like he had the respect for his pops. So I think his pops passing away was like that last thing that, if he had any chance, because his mom's like, you look at everybody else around him. You think his pops hold on, let me see. You think his pops would have let them, like him, hang around them dudes? He would have had to do it in secret. And I'm not saying he wouldn't have done it, because he had his own mind, but I think his pops was a big deal. So Chad said, you don't think he think it's too much pressure from the pops?
Mm, it could be true. I mean, his career might have went completely different if he didn't want. Where do you want him to go?
UConn. He wanted him to go to UConn.
If you want him to go to UConn instead of going down south to Florida with the Gators.
Yeah,
So yeah, no, his career could have went completely different.
yeah, yeah. And
Speaking of the UConn, how do you feel about how they did his brother? How they was like, if he don't come, you can't be the quarterback no more.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But when it comes to like college and the recruiting and the whole NCAA machine, nasty work they do. That's why I'm glad, like on the flip side, I'm glad these guys got these NI. They can make this money now off
Oh
their life.
yeah,
Because remember, they have video games with these. They wouldn't put their names in them, but they would have their numbers and their
yeah,
likeness and shirts. And I remember guys used to get in trouble for like, if you went into a store and somebody said, "Nah, you ain't got to pay for your burger. You ain't got to pay for. I'm gonna let you get this shirt because you slandered." Guys was getting in trouble. So yeah, I think I think doing that to a kid because his brother didn't go to school, like that's crazy to me. That's crazy. I would like,
but completely like didn't even get to
yeah,
be the second quarterback. Sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
yeah. That you, if your brother don't come here, that's crazy. Yeah, they file for that. Like a lot of college programs, they do these kids dirty. These kids that put their bodies on the line, especially back in the days where you had to like get some underhanded money from like boosters and things like that. Um, to do that to a kid who genuinely, you know, wants to be in your program, and you can't blame the brother for going to, like, now if dude went to, like, so for in Connecticut, there's like smaller colleges. If Aaron went to a smaller, shittier college, I get it, but you can't, as UConn, you gotta look yourself in the face and say, yeah, it is Florida. So How could you be mad at the kid for going to Florida of all places, or any of those Big Ten, um, SEC schools, Big 12? How could you get mad? But
Oh,
they
for
did.
sure.
They dirty. They dirty for that.
All right, so the episode wraps up. Him and his mom and his brother, they talk to the coach from Florida. He decides, he commits, he goes there, and that is the first episode. So we get to the second episode. This opening scene was when the coach was like, he has the best recruitment team in history. We kind of touched on it earlier about all the names that they had at the time. So then, like you said earlier, with the whole bar fight, he busted the guy's eardrum, and then that lawyer came, made it all disappear. And I was wondering, how many things do you think he made disappear for that? I mean, we find out like in later episodes, but when you saw that, did it make you think like, how much stuff have these kids done? And they just
Yeah,
under the rug. Nobody finds out.
you know that that lawyer know his way around. You know what I'm saying? Had a smile on his face the whole time. Nah, don't worry about it. He knew. These guys been greasing each other's palms and giving each other tickets, and getting into these rooms that other people can't get into, and the connection, it's like they say, is not what you know, it's who you know. So I know. And let me try to, how do I put this? Being around a college atmosphere, I know that stuff can I'll just leave it at that. I know he did a lot of stuff.
If you're the star, you can get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Or you one of those starters, because if you you're a special teams guy, or you ain't the marquee, or you ain't one of those marquees, even if they think you got potential, if you're not quite a star yet, but you up and coming, like you just happen to be behind. Let's just make these names. Say you got Gronkowski. Say he was at Florida, and Aaron Hernandez just happened to be behind him, but they know they got the next guy coming. Yeah, you're gonna they make concessions for those guys all the time. And I think that lawyer definitely knew his way around getting people out of shit, because he did it with a quick phone call and a drink, and problem gone. Problem solved.
That easy. So he gets down there, he meets the coach, the teams, all that. Like I said, they go out, bar fight happens, they make all that go away. So like I said, he's down there, he's smoking, you feel me? He's just living the life up. There's a party scene, there's an orgy scene. That was crazy.
Yeah, I was looking across the room, giving
The
thumbs
dog.
up to these.
Nigga really gave him a thumbs up. Like, that was just...
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, just to kind of, tie. That was a while ago, but just to tie, like now, like stuff that's in the news currently, and people are so shocked about stuff. But there's so many crazy parties and things like that have gone on over the years that maybe you don't know about, and just to get a peek inside of a little peek inside. And again, these guys are 17 18 years old.
Yeah, he's a freshman.
Yeah, these are
rookies.
Yeah, these are not grown men. These are 17 18 19 20-year-old boys, right, getting turned loose on a college campus in a room, just having a straight up orgy, looking across, smiling, and giving each other thumbs up. Great job, Slanda. You doing good over there.
No, I got you. Now, this scene was hilarious to me, is the Cam Newton and the laptop scene.
Yeah, that was funny.
So Cam Newton gets arrested for stealing laptops in college. If y'all did not know, that was crazy to me.
I don't know if you saw, they showed Cam Newton watching that scene.
I seen it, but I didn't watch it. I saw like the thumbnail, but I didn't watch it because I thought it was some bullshit.
Yeah, he was like, he was cracking up. It was like him and another couple of guys, but just he just fleed the laptop out the door.
Just threw it out the window like it wasn't gonna find it.
Yeah, they threw it out the
It
window.
distracted to you.
Yeah, yeah. Cam Newton, let's go.
Oh my God. So his homies from the hood come to visit him, you know. They come bearing gifts at his birthday. They bring him a bag of weed. Now, this is something where, like, I feel like at some point in life we all have to go through this, where it's like maybe the back home friends, can't mix and get along with the other friends you make. When you move, when you move and you transition, you make new friends. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yep. Yes,
This was like literally perfect, like how this can just clash and go wrong in so many ways.
yeah. Especially because the dudes from home, they team Slanda all the way. And even though they know that you have stuff on the line, you know, there's certain people, I remember I had certain friends, like, when we went to parties and stuff like that, there was like one or two dudes that was always not there. They never there to party. They was there looking, posting up, looking, making sure nobody ain't looking too long. They was ready to, they was on go.
Oh
And
yeah.
and to have them to turn them guys loose on the college campus. Yeah, man. There's a
And again,
recipe for
you're in
disaster.
Florida. Florida's fun. Florida's, you feel me? It's not like you're just, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't back in motherfucking, where was they from?
From Bristol.
Yeah, it's not like y'all back in Bristol. Y'all in fucking Florida. You feel me? Again, they the homies. You feel me? They got the weeds. They come strapped up. So, like most situations, a bar fight breaks the fuck out.
Yeah,
Guns get pulled, cops come, Aaron gets arrested.
yep. And so for me, like after that, these guys you can't be around me. You can't come to my college. You can't come to my college.
Those the homies though, brother. Those the day ones. Those the brothers back home.
Listen, I'm not gonna say how good or bad I was, but when my cousin went to West Virginia to play football, I did not visit him. I was not, I was not invited up there to go visit him. He knew enough to say, you know what, I'm here for a reason. And let me leave y'all home. I see y'all on the Thanksgiving break or the Christmas break. But during school time, during football season, yeah, y'all can't come up
Can't
here.
fuck with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the coach gets the call. He's stressed the fuck out. Think he has an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Nah, this
It's
bullshit. Like a
something going
mild
on, like
stroke. You feel me?
stroke
Just
or
something
something like
like
that. Yeah.
a little stroke.
Sweating.
So, my bad. What you saying?
No, I said sweating and ready to pass out.
Yeah. So I don't know if this was the dean or somebody very high up at the school is just they're upset with the coach because the students are getting in a lot of trouble. Now, like we said earlier, the lawyer makes stuff sweep away. The lawyer said in 3 years they've had 21 incidents, it was
Mm.
involving the students. And then it wasn't just Aaron, it was other students too. It was Cam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other students were fighting and just causing trouble and mayhem. It was just, and then he's arguing with the coach is arguing with the dean about it. Like if we were 8-0, this wouldn't even be an issue right now.
Right. Right.
And his response is, "Well, you're not 8-0, and it is an issue. So you got to fix it."
Yeah. So
Nah,
I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
you good. You good. No, you good.
I was gonna say, do you think? Did you agree with that? That part of the problem was they weren't winning.
Oh, of course. That's always a problem. I don't as long as you want it, I don't give a fuck.
Right. Right. Yeah, I agree.
And and that's the problem. And that's the problem because you want these young men, to do the best, whether they go off to the league or they just ride their scholarship out, just get their degree or whatever. It's just it's messed up because it's you're just another body to them. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it. There was a you know what I was gonna say. There was a scene that I don't know. I might have went past 5. I don't want to touch.
No,
Something in during the course of the show. There was something that happened with an injury, and he was just like, get back to when he messed up his ankle or something like that.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
when he was
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah. That's
NFL, when he was in the
yeah,
NFL, and
yeah.
but the college is basically a minor league for the pros, and it's the same thing. They used to say that all the time. Are you injured? Are you hurt? Can you play? You know,
Prove them
I
comments to Friday.
what you say?
He said a lot of comments are being helpful with you. I'm sure people are using very,
Really? I'm
Well,
not
you
on.
got to think. I'm sure they talking about a whole nother side of the story. I'm sure they're using hard F words and all that.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know why they would be held for review. Oh well, I think everything seemed to be coming through, but I don't. I'm looking at the comments. Everything seemed like maybe they mad at Chad for using all caps. I don't know.
So the coach has to make some cuts. So this was the end of it. So this is how it ended. The coach ends up cutting Cam Newton, but Aaron gets suspended for 1 game. Now, what
Right.
was your thoughts on that?
That was wild. And just for the record, Cam Newton said he did not get cut. He said he left. I watched the interview because, like I said, this was like once I started like watching it, you know, your computer or whatever you watching it on starts feeding you. So I'm watching this on Hulu, then I go on YouTube, and all of a sudden I'm getting all this Aaron
Oh
Hernandez
yeah.
stuff. So I started jumping into some of the stuff, and Cam Newton said he was not kicked off. He said he left, but yeah, if you kick Cam Newton out, you kept Aaron Hernandez. First of all, that says what you thought of him. Because you had Tim Tebow. No, actually, was Tebow leaving or Tim? No, Tebow was
No,
coming back.
Tebow was still there. Tebow was
Yeah,
still there.
you had
Tebow got
Tebow.
his whole episode.
Yeah, Tebow. You had Tebow. So I guess at that point, Cam Newton wasn't a better quarterback than Tebow in their mind, at least a college quarterback. Even though Cam Newton went on to go JUCO and then go to Auburn and showed them that he was, you know, just as good, if not better, and then went on to have a better pro career than Tim Tebow. But I think yeah, that's foul. Like, you know, you basically told him that's another thing. Like I said, so they make concessions for you in high school, right? They make concessions for you when you know, assault a bartender. You get
Felon
in them
drug test.
felon drug tests, you that brawl, and then after all of that, which I don't know how much of that Cam Newton was involved in, but we know Aaron was involved in that stuff. So after all of that, you cut or you send Cam Newton away and keep Aaron. That just emboldens Aaron a little bit more. So
Hmm.
now he's like he definitely has to feel like he's if he ain't feeling untouchable before that, he has to feel like untouchable at this point.
So that was the second episode. Third. Okay, now this is okay. The third one is about the whole college experience. Okay, so the opening scene is Aaron is teaching other players, the rookies, how to pass the drug test.
Oh yeah.
This was crazy. So apparently, what they're doing is they're buying their I guess they're what are they? I guess they're dildos, so to say.
Yeah.
And you just put pee in it, and he said you just squeeze the head and the pee comes out.
Yeah.
So that's how he was able to pass all his drug tests. He's teaching all the other kids how to do it and shit. It's just, again, I told y'all, Aaron smokes more than me.
Yeah. And I can honestly say that at one point in my life when I stopped smoking, because I ain't smoke, I stopped smoking in like 95, 96 somewhere. You probably wasn't even born yet, but I stopped smoking at that point. And I was actually, you know, because my boys would come to me for a pee when they have going for jobs and stuff like that. So it does happen. There is a way that people get around it.
Oh yeah. Shout
And
out to the friends like you. Y'all help us out. Shout out to y'all.
yeah, if you trying to get a job and you gotta, you know, I don't think they even care nowadays, but you know,
Oh no.
back in the days, yeah, for sure. Um,
So he's in college, he's living the life. So y'all know Aaron has a whole nother side to him. So I guess in this call and down in Florida, what they were doing is guys were going to the library's bathroom and they were hooking up and whatnot.
yeah,
An article comes out. Now this is where I feel like we see the paranoia start to come into the play because we see the CTE because, like you said, they do the effects where the lights fuck with them, camera starts shaking and it gets blurry, and The he's smoking, so yeah, he's using the weed to cope. So we see the CTE, the drugs, the weed. Now this is where the paranoia starts to come into it because his girlfriend sells him a school article, and it's about him, but they just didn't say his name and all that.
Yeah, they said a football player. Somebody witnessed
Yeah,
a football player. So yeah, my first thought was like, I somebody I don't know if somebody just didn't want to say it was him, because if they know that he was a football player, they had to know it was him, or they had to be able to point out to somebody else that, you know who I seen that dude there. I wonder why that person didn't out him there for hooking up, but he definitely started getting paranoid after that. He
very
actually
paranoid.
he would, and he was a little paranoid when he was, remember when he was in high school, because they would go off in that car, him and
Yeah, him and his friend.
yeah, they would go off in that car. But when you now, like, how many students are at Florida? Like, you talking about,
Couple thousand.
yeah. So now you talking about, and then that would be a national story. So now you talking about going from like a little small town where you worried that your pops might find out, to being at Florida, being one of the top athletes in the country, and you being outed. So he definitely, I could see why he would definitely be paranoid.
So the paranoia leads him to his quarterback friend Tim Tebow, and they go to church.
Hmm.
Aaron found God. He prayed the gay away. That's what the episode was called.
Right. Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah, no, it didn't work at all.
He tried. He tried, but it didn't quite work.
Now they really showed a scene of him in the church praying about that, trying to stop that, but he didn't ask the Lord to fix his brain injury or his drug problem. He
Right.
was more concerned with that problem.
Yeah, I think, because I think that was probably more, um like, those other things didn't necessarily challenge his manhood, and being young and full of testosterone and trying to find your way and trying to be looked at as a manly man on a football team. You got aspirations to become a pro. At that point, there hadn't been anybody that pro had came out that was gay. So I think, there was no like blueprint for him to navigate through that. So I think part of that was him trying to find his way and show that he's a man. And that was something like smoking weed, drug tests, and having headaches, getting dinged, getting concussions, or getting banged up on the football field and getting back out there. That's considered manly. What he was
Oh yeah.
doing, wasn't considered manly. And I think that was why he was going to be extra paranoid, and why he's trying to pray it away, because he was worried about how he's going to be looked at.
Then he's got his father in the back of his head,
Yeah.
telling him everybody knows you need to just stop it and this
Yeah.
and that. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah, for sure.
now I just real quick. So the fraud, what you do is allegedly, allegedly get you a pill bottle, make sure it's clean and all that. Then get you some hand warmers, them things you could put in your gloves, or some, foot warmers. Wrap that around. Get you an ace bandage, then wrap that around your leg with that pee in a sock with the hand warmers. And then you go in there and you handle your business. Now, if you got a PO or something, you feel me, or they want to watch, you might have to get that little thing Aaron and them had. But that's just what I heard people do allegedly. Me myself, I don't got to worry about none of that. But
Yeah.
that's what they say.
Yeah, I only provided it. How you kept it warm after
Oh
it was
yeah,
out
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
possession,
yeah.
I don't know.
Damn, Chad, that's fucked up.
What you talk-
Carrie, it wasn't his father. We'll get to that in a later episode. It was not his father. His father just wanted his son to go to the league. His father was an athlete. He was supposed to go to the league. He was a star. Then he got caught up in some bullshit and went to jail. So his shit got fucked. So he just wanted his sons, live his dream. Wasn't his dad though.
Stephanie has an official message, by the way. It don't get prayed away. All right.
Oh no, Stephanie, he didn't get prayed away at all for him. Not at all. So, like I said earlier, this is when we really start to see the effects of the CT, where like the cameras start doing all that extra stuff. This is where like the light starts fucking with him, and he kind of blinks out at certain moments.
Yeah, I just want to touch on this real quick. What Chad's talking about. This is I definitely had situations like this, and also remember when we used to get um we used to get like ding like your I remember my coach saying it wasn't me that he said it to, but he was like, he telling him my head is ringing. He was like, well, answer the phone and get back out there. Like answer the ring and get back out there. You ain't so I mean, that's real. Like, and as a young crash test dummy, you get back out there. So I just wanted to go on there. I'm
Oh,
sorry, but go ahead.
Carry. It was the uncle. It wasn't the father. The father was in prison his whole childhood. Okay. Okay. So he's been to college. He comes. He's been gone. Comes home for what was it? Thanksgiving. The family dynamic has changed. Now his father has passed away. Before he went away, his mother he had caught his mother sleeping with his aunt's boyfriend.
Yeah, right at that game, at the basketball game, right? It came out at the back.
No, he came home and like mom was getting dressed and dude was walking downstairs trying to fix himself.
Oh yeah. So I thought at one point,
No, that happened at the game. Like the aunt
okay,
confronted his mom.
okay, yeah, all right, yep,
It was just it.
yeah, man.
No, the mom was fucked up. So the mom is now dating that guy,
Yeah, yep.
and so he's like Aaron's not feeling it. He doesn't fuck with him. I guess Aaron, in his mind, expected his mom to just. How do you feel about the situation? Like, should he have been mad about that, or is it just mama got to have a life too?
Um, I think when it comes to, I think because it was so close and knowing the personalities of like the aunt and the mom and having it be so close and knowing that it's going to be a thing. You know what I'm saying? I think he had every right to be upset with it because you got cookout. Remember, you got cookouts, you got family gatherings. So how is this going to play out? Now you're
No.
talking about people not being around each other, not wanting to be around each other. I think that would be a fight every time. You know what I'm saying? On site every time, some kind of argument or some kind of tension. But it's also embarrassing for him. You know what I'm saying? He was embarrassed by it. And you see what happened at that game. He, he playing basketball and everybody's looking at him. You know what I'm saying? And his mom and the aunt, they arguing and fighting. And when he came back in from talking to his mom, everybody's staring at him. So like, I think that had to be like something where, like you think your mom will have better judgment than that. But
Oh yeah.
again, I don't a lot of things. So I've learned to as I've gotten older and just experience more people. A lot of stuff is based on people's experience in life. So I don't know what his mom went through, and she might have that relationship with his pops. You've seen it seemed to be volatile. So maybe once the pops died, she felt free and just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want to do." But as a kid, no, I definitely wouldn't want my mom. I wouldn't. That's not a good look.
Yeah, you're right. So
So Carrie, the aunt confronted the mother about her sleeping with her boyfriend at one of his one of his high school basketball games.
yeah, it was wild. It was wild. So we have like a bit of a time jump. This is episode 3. So episode 3 ends with he's a junior. Hold on. Oh no. Okay, so while he's back home, he go meets his friend from high school who he would mess around with or whatever. He makes a pass at the friend, but the friend tells him no, he's getting married, that he doesn't do that anymore. He wishes him the best and all that.
Right,
And Aaron, you can see he was rejected and he didn't know how to take that.
right.
Like for a moment, I thought he was gonna snap and just he was gonna shoot dude. You feel me? Like hoping to see he caught a body. Like but
Yeah, yeah. He definitely was hurt, but it was a lot of it had to do with him not like he did his judgment and his like was off quite a bit during certain situations. He seemed to be confused. So I don't know if that was like CTE stuff or just the fact that he expected to come home and be this, local celebrity and have access to, because remember, he's coming from access to abundance at school.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's surely when he sees this guy who, before their last experiences was this guy, loving on him. So I'm sure he probably expected that. Because you can see he had like, if you look at the way he was looking at him, he like had like love in his eyes when he's looking at him when he saw him again. Because they was like, wasn't they like playing like football or something? And the dude came out on the football field. They were playing like they were playing catch or
Yeah,
something.
they were on the football team together in high
Yeah,
school.
yeah. And when he saw him, you know what I'm saying, and but for their relationship, that's a normal reaction when you see somebody that you genuinely love and you have camaraderie with. But they had a different relationship, so he probably, thought, yeah, okay, well, I'm here, but and dude told him no. And was he a Marine or I know he was
What he went to the Marines while he
Marine.
went to college and all, because
Yeah,
he wasn't like a star, none of that. So
yeah, yeah. So he probably
and he had met the wife in the Marines and all that.
right. And so Marines he probably was fighting the same battle though.
Oh yeah. Well,
Because
he
he's
insinuated it.
because in the Marines, the Marines is not, I'm not saying that they like it's like football, but in the military branches, I'm sure it's the same jokes. I'm sure it's the same
Oh, they
stigma.
just legalized that to where you couldn't like get in trouble and shit not that
Yeah,
long ago,
yeah,
right?
same
Yeah.
jokes, same stigma, same all of that. So he had to be, um, and well, I won't get into that. I more research. Like I said, I was down this Aaron Hernandez rabbit hole, and I saw interviews with that kid, that guy, and so
Really?
yeah, yeah, his interview with him with his
That's
with his
crazy.
pops, and he came out to his pops. So I think they didn't say, but I think he
Was he still
eventually,
married or?
I don't know. It was him sitting next to his pops, and he talked about coming out to his pops and saying he was the kid, he was the one that was with Aaron when they were in high school. But yeah, I promise you, this thing, and I like it though. I enjoy it. The fact that this thing led me down just all these rabbit holes of information, and to kind of compare it from what people are saying to what was actually in this docu series. Real like good stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of other information, and I really had to like make sure I was separating because I didn't want to introduce stuff, and if I introduced stuff that I found that was um, from the real life people and separate that from what we actually watching and what we talking about. A lot of stuff. You sent me down a crazy rabbit hole though.
I sent you that. Like, I just said watch the show. All the other stuff that was on you.
I put it in Hulu, and next thing you know, it's on YouTube. It's on my Google. Like I log on to Google. I'm like, yo, I didn't ask you about Aaron Hernandez. Why is this? But they like, yeah. But it's interesting though. It's a good rabbit hole. Good rabbit hole.
So after he does a visit with the family, there's a time jump. Like I said, he's a junior now at this point. Him and his brother had a conversation, and I feel like this was another one of those pivotal moments where had things went how he wanted it to go, his life would be different. He might still be here. He wanted to him and his coach have a talk. He wants to stay out and finish his senior year there. He wants to play for them another year. And like he said, he wants to get his degree and all that. But the coach says that he doesn't want him. He's getting a no team. Like Tim Tebow's left at this point. He said he's getting a new team. He
Yeah.
wants new peoples, and he just doesn't want the headache anymore.
Right. Um. So if it's a couple of things that for him in particular, because he, at this point, Urban Meyer had no confidence that he was going to keep this dude. You remember what he said when he got drafted? He said either he's going to, did he say he's going to go to the Hall of
Oh yeah,
Fame?
yeah, 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 yeah. No, he
So,
said he's either gonna go to the league or he's gonna go to prison.
prison, right. So in his mind, he could not go another year with this particular guy on his team, having access to another group of freshmen, because he's going to play. There's nobody
Well,
that's
of
better than
course you have to.
there's nobody that's better than him. So he's going to be looked at. He's going to be leading the charge. He's going to be the freshmen are going to be following him around. So I get why he just was like, yo, you got to get up out of here. And again, like I said, Aaron was only 20 years old when he got drafted to the league. So he's still, I mean, all these guys are young men, but he wasn't, I don't think he was ready, but
He even said he wasn't ready. Like he said, I'm not ready. I want to stay one more year.
yeah, yeah, he was definitely not ready. But, as a coach, as that coach who's having health issues and all of that, do you take another year of this guy, or you get him the fuck up out of here?
And it's tricky because it's all about the wins. You feel me? Like you said, this he's in his prime. You feel me? Like you said, nobody's gonna be able to stop him at this point. He's gonna be a senior. You feel me? You might be able to win a championship with him. You feel me? But I also get where is the headache worth it?
Yeah,
If I'm really that guy, if I'm that guy, can I get another All Star team? You know what I'm saying? Can I make another All Star team?
yeah, yeah,
And I get thinking that, and I get but that's he had to really think long and hard about that one before he made that decision because, like I said, it was all about the championships for them. Like I said,
yeah,
if they were 8-0, nobody would have got in. No, they wouldn't have gave a fuck about all the trouble they was getting in. But
yeah, yeah. And I think this is big too. Like, you know what I'm saying? At that
that,
point,
yeah,
Urban Meyer had become like a father figure for him. He was trying to
they
be
had
true for him.
dinner,
Yeah. Dinner with the
introduced him to his
family.
family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, but looking at who he got drafted to, you would think because they had the Patriot way or whatever, but you would think that there would be something salvageable there in Aaron because of who he was gonna. But you find out that those guys they have expectations, but they're a little bit more cold. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Belichick and Kraft, even though they cared about people, those guys are the ultimate businessmen.
Well, see, it's different because to an extent they're not responsible for him. Or like in college, the coach, like anything he does, it falls back on the coach. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He's from out of state. You brought him here on a scholarship and all that. So yeah, anything he does, it's gonna fall back on you. And the league, you feel me? You're a grown ass man. Do what the fuck you do. Just come up and show up here and play and do what you got to do in practice.
right.
And you're getting money. Like he got a rookie contract. What was it, 100,000? You feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah,
You never in his life did he think he was gonna get that type of money.
yeah,
But
yeah,
before before we get ahead, he wins the 2009 Mackey Award. He announced he's going pro, and we talked about what the coach said. He'll either end up in prison or he'll either go to the league.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This was big too. We'll get to that, but yeah, yeah. That and the real footage of that is crazy. He was getting when he kept looking back. I don't know if you saw that footage with Chaz talking about when he was in the court and when they announced that Robert Kraft was going to be testifying. You see Aaron keep looking back, looking back, looking back, and he had like a look of, like like a father, like a son looking at a father during that. But we'll get to that.
I
Episode
mean, you
5.
gotta think though. I mean, I'm sure you might look at him as a father. Shit, he paying you fucking $40 million. Yeah,
Yeah,
that might be your father in your head, your pops. I'm
yeah.
fucked up right now. Help me.
And think, yo, that's what's crazy too. Like he out here just letting loose.
We'll get to that because
Yeah, yeah.
I have my thoughts on that whole situation itself because
Yeah,
it's
my
like
bad.
y'all could have got him a dream team if y'all really wanted to.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. They cut him though. They was like, nah.
Okay, so we get to episode 4. Now, for whatever reason, this show always starts off with some wild shit at the beginning. Episode 4, we find out that his uncle was essaying him when he was younger.
Right.
And then one time his brother he didn't necessarily walk in on it, but he knocked on the door and I guess he made it stop. And
Yeah.
the uncle walks out, it was like, talked it off and stormed out the house. And then Aaron's in the room just sitting there looking sad and upset and hurt. And he just gets up and shoves his brother like he's just disappointed and upset at his brother. It was a fucked up scene. Very sad.
Yeah. And he held that against his brother when they got
Oh
over.
yeah.
He held
Oh
that
yeah.
against his brother. So yeah. Like you said, they always start off with something to reel you in and be like, yo, this show is good. They let you know.
Oh yeah.
Like a dynamic scene to reel you in emotionally and then get on with the story.
Oh yeah, the next scene was just fly. So the next scene, it's him meeting different recruiters. He's traveling. He's staying at fly hotels. Oh, they had cake with his face on it, with sparklers on it and shit. Now,
Yeah.
he's just living their life. All the recruiters are trying to talk to him, trying to be an agent and all that. My bad, not recruiters. He's meeting all the different agents and whatnot. I apologize. So he ends up finding one. The agent meets with him and his mother, and they're all talking. Pretty much every agency's telling him you're gonna get drafted. You're a shoe in. You're gonna be the first round. There's no debate. This and that. But the agent he ends up keeping it real with him. Like, you're a huge liability. Like, yeah, everybody's telling you you're going to be a first round pick. What they're not telling you that is,
Right.
what did he say? You're like a red flag. What was it? For the, just, his weed, just because he got in trouble for smoking weed so much in college.
Right. Right. Yeah. Because they go into they dive deep into your background. They go and ask
Very thorough.
everybody questions. They go to your neighborhood and ask your neighbors. They do all of that when it comes to that. And it was enough on him. There was a book on him to for and that oh that was after when he took that Wonderlic test or whatever. But there definitely
Oh,
was a
yeah.
book on him.
Oh, yeah. So he ends up going with this agent. The agent has like a camp where, they train him, they test him, they figure out all this stuff before he goes to, like, the NFL draft and whatnot. Like, guess I never looked into it. I just did not know it was like to this extent and all that. It was just crazy to see that. So before he goes, he ends up getting to work a deal out to where his brother can go with him. I think the agency was in California.
I don't.
So he left Bristol and went to
Right,
California at
right.
the agency.
I believe you're correct. And he found a new friend out there.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay,
Oh
my
yeah, he was a Rolling Stone. He was a Rolling Stone. So like I said, they're training him. He's doing all these different workouts and stuff. He pulls a muscle. He ends up meeting this physical therapist who becomes his new little friend.
right.
So him and the physical therapist, they end up having us meet off in secret meetings and all that. Now his brother's there at the camp. Now, what did you think of his brother, like, trying to, like, get his brother's agent to kind of like get him a backdoor deal to get on a different team or something? What was your thoughts on that?
I,
Because
don't-
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, I didn't hate on his brother for trying, but the fact of the matter is, if if you're not good enough, you're just not good enough. And but he did get offer him like a coaching gig, and I think that would have been a good lane for his brother. But
He wasn't feeling that.
yeah, I can't hate on the fact that he was, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he jealous as hell, your brother killing it. And it's like, yo, let me just, if I could just get in there and show them um, that I could, but yeah, I didn't have a problem with him trying it per se. I just, you know, if you're realistic, like when I told you that story about me going on the field with them big South dudes and just looking up, being like, okay, I have to be real, like, I'm not that. Whatever
Yeah.
I was, like, you have to have some kind of honesty with yourself. So I wish his brother had a little bit, so he wouldn't have got so upset with him about it. But I mean, I don't blame him for trying to get in the door. I don't blame him for that.
No, I'm glad you said that earlier about that not being good enough. How do you think that felt for his brother to, like, really sit there and have to watch all that? Because you have the same dream too. You want to play football, you want to go pro, but it's just not there for you. You're at a college, you get kicked out because your brother doesn't end up going there. You go off with him with his agent and try to do that, and then it still doesn't work. Like, you just literally have to watch your little brother be what you wanted so bad.
Yeah, I probably, at that age, I wasn't mature enough to really, and I probably would have been on some hating, like, what I'm saying, some jealous, like some hating type shit, what I'm saying? But, um, like I said, there is a certain level of sports, any real competition. If you are competing with somebody else, there comes a reality check where you get measured against somebody else, and there's a realization of, okay, um, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what it is. Anything that has competition. If you playing basketball, if you in a rap battle, you playing football, tennis, a spelling bee, whatever it is, you come up, you get to a point where, you know what I'm saying, you have to be real about your chances and you know, and if you're not, yeah, you're gonna end up hurt, jealous, and mad at and make all kind of excuses for why Slander got there and I didn't. You know what I'm saying? He had it easy. I paved the way for him. I was here before him. I da 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 blah blah blah. Nah, you just wasn't good enough. So you know, he just wasn't good enough and hopefully because I know his brother got into some shit too. That's a whole nother thing. I get in that rabbit hole. But yeah, I would have been. I definitely would have been. You know, there might have been a little hate going on, but I think ultimately, like your love for your brother should theoretically like allow you to be happy for him. No,
Think he was, but at the same time, I feel like the brother had a lot of resentment. Like you said, he got offered that coaching gig, and I mean, yeah, it might have been in Europe, but I mean, you're still gonna make good money. You know what I'm saying? Like he was not happy about that at all. Like he didn't want to fuck with it at all. Like
no,
he
no.
really wanted to get on the field. That's just me. I think the brother was jealous of him. Like, I
Yeah,
put that in. I was gonna say, do you think the brother was jealous of him?
yeah, he
I think
was.
he was just jealous because I mean, and again, his brother might not have been a shitty player. You feel me? It's just your little
Yeah,
brother's just more superior at it. You feel me? He was
yeah,
what 6'2"? What did they say? 245? Like
yeah, something like that.
it's a big motherfucker. You feel me?
Yeah, it's fast like a wide receiver. Good hands. That's a rare combination. When you good route running, mean. Like you, that's the thing about football. You got to be like a mean motherfucker. You can't because somebody will step on your head out there. So you got to be all of those things. And then to have it be your younger brother, who
Mm,
you probably been mushing him and pushing him around and remember his younger brother was letting the older brother win.
yeah.
So the older brother probably didn't even realize that, like, you know, he wasn't his brother had surpassed them when they were kids, you know. But he had his pops had to tell him like, nah, don't let your brother win. I saw you letting your brother win. So he I guess his brother, now that I think about it, he had no self-awareness in the situation. Although he was taking advantage because remember when he came home and brother had the two girls on his arm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he did to an extent, but like I said, just with that, I just couldn't believe he turned down that coaching gig. Just
Yeah,
like that was just the craziest thing to
yeah.
me.
Because he wasn't gonna get in the league. So
Nah,
why not take that coaching gig? Yeah, you're right.
what else? So, okay, so the agent and the brother have a conversation. Aaron's weed habit gets brought up. Now, by this time, he had stopped smoking weed. He found God. He was still, was he? Nah, yeah, he was still messing around with the physical therapist and all that, but he had stopped smoking weed and hanging out with thugs. So he kind of, fixed his shit a little bit.
Right.
And then, the agent starts asking him about the past because, again, like I said, for the draft, they get everything that you've done, your parents have done, your siblings have done, your grandparents, like very thorough. Like the NFL, they might have ties to the CIA and the FBI just as thorough as they are. Like,
Absolutely. They have, I'm pretty sure they have like FBI agents and people that can really dig into your background because they ask some questions where, they leave it open-ended for you to answer, but have you thinking like, what does he know that? You know what I'm saying? You seen when they was asking him questions, he was, getting uncomfortable in his seat because what do they actually know? And sometimes people ask questions that they know the answers to. They just want to see how you gonna answer them. So yeah, they definitely have people on the payroll that are like top notch investigators.
real shit, real shit. So that happens. So now we get to the NFL Combine. That was wild to me. Like,
Yeah,
I just, again, you have an idea how it goes, but like, I'm sure it's way more, than what we were shown. But like, just that in itself was like, holy shit.
yeah. Chad had a comment up here. Where was it at?
I know Chad been going crazy.
He had a comment that was like he talked about it, like comparing it to like a slave auction.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they said that. One of the characters said that this is like a slave auction.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, there
It,
it is
it,
right
it
there.
is. I mean, they're testing your body. They're putting you through all these different. They're doing mental tests, physical tests. You're getting the whole physical. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
They did everything. They did stress tests. They tested their hearts. I'm sure they did blood tests. Like they did everything.
They
Checking
do everything.
joints, all that shit.
Full physical, full MRIs, X-rays. Like they looking at everything. Yeah, watching your
Now,
gait.
looking at it from that view, it's fucked up, right? It's fucked up, right?
Um, that they do it like that. I
Yes.
mean, so if these are corporations, so if they're
Okay.
potentially, I'm sorry, go. What you
No,
say?
no, I was gonna say you get into what I was about to say too, because I was gonna say from the other side, I completely understand if I'm about to give you millions of dollars,
That's
I
what I was
want
gonna
to
say.
make sure
That's what I was gonna say.
everything's good. No, no, well, yeah, work it out for us, boy.
Yeah, no, they. So if I'm gonna give you millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, if I'm gonna spend a draft pick on you, because you think about it, it's not just the person you're going to be dealing with, lawyers, agents, potential wives, mother, like it's a whole package that comes with this person. So if I'm going to be invested in that, and you're going to be you potentially going to be the face of a brother of a certain age corporation, and I'm going to, you know you're going to be the face, then yeah, you're going to do your due diligence like the rest of the league. You know what I'm saying? So every team is involved in it, but you have, as that individual team, you have to do your due diligence and make sure that this product, because that's what it is, this is gonna, at least on the surface, because you can never tell what somebody's gonna turn out to be. You can't measure that sometimes,
No.
but you see that he scored low on like maturity. So there was things that,
Oh yeah,
uh,
he failed the personality test.
yeah, there was things that were also combined with the stuff that they found out about him in college and found out. I'm surprised they didn't find out about his like down low life, because he had been hiding this since high school. So I'm surprised with all their investigators that they didn't find out, or maybe they did and it just wasn't a they didn't care as long as he, because at the time that wasn't like, that wasn't, I don't know, was Sam out at that time? What's the guy name
Oh,
that
I'm
came
not
out
sure.
first openly gay football player? I think he was in college, and then
Well, the way the show insinuated was like nobody knew about
right.
his little secret and whatnot. So I
Yeah.
don't know if like he just. You got to think that was a different time too, before cell phones and all that. So it really wouldn't get a picture of this. You know what I'm saying and whatnot. So it's just
Yeah.
I
So
don't know. He might have been able to hide it that whole time, but now you bring up a good point because they were very like they found out about his uncle's charges, his mother,
yeah,
his father. That, that's a good point. I wonder if they did find that out.
yeah, and they just said, it's a non-factor because it doesn't affect anything. So maybe they just, you know, but yeah, I didn't have a problem with them, especially you going into that field, and maybe as a as the athlete, you might be overwhelmed and be like, yo, this is crazy. Like they doing all these things, but from the corporation standpoint, yeah, I understand why they did what they did.
So the NFL recruiters, they asked him a bunch of questions. They asked him if he was American. They asked him if he was African American. They asked him his race. Like we said, they asked him about his parents' charges, his uncle's charges. So, and honestly, he did very well in that. They were asking him if he smokes weed, if he's ever been in trouble.
Mm.
They asked him what happened down in Florida with different situations. And he's just breezing through. He's doing very good. Then he has one of his little episodes where his father pops up.
Yeah, because like the one thing they didn't ask him, his father, his his illusion of his father came to ask him, like, because at that point, I think maybe he felt like, okay, I'm doing well with this, but the one thing they didn't ask me, like my pops knows, like they didn't ask me about this, and then he sees his pops there, and yeah, so like if that scene actually happened, I'm wondering from the standpoint of the interviewer how that came across with him kind of staring into space, just talking. That seemed like it would have been a red flag that during an interview with you just space out and just say stop it. I forgot what he said. He said something, but I thought that might have been a red flag, but maybe it didn't happen quite like that. Maybe that was just in his head.
Yeah, it might have just added that in there, for storyline and whatnot.
Mhm.
So he almost messes that up. He feels like he's effed it up after that episode with his father. So he goes to his hotel room and he relapses on the weed. He starts smoking again. His physical therapist friend comes over, and then all that happens. So that's done. He's back home, back in Bristol. The draft comes around. Now, everybody's been telling him he's going to be the first round. Even his agent was like, oh, yeah, you're definitely first round. First round happens, doesn't get picked. What was your thoughts on that? Because, they showed him like his reaction and all that.
Yeah,
Did you think he thought it was over then?
nah, because I know that the draft, like we've seen this play out before.
Yeah.
I'm a little older, like somebody like Dan Marino, like they're maybe not the next round, but there's been a couple of players that fell a couple of rounds, whether it be the NBA or NFL draft. There's been players that fell a couple of rounds due to some some of their personal history. So I wasn't surprised, but I know he was, and because you got your family around. Excuse me.
That's got to be embarrassing.
Yeah, you got your family around you. It's going to be a celebration, and then to hear some of the names go and
Yeah, it's all his old teammates.
Yeah, like, yo, I'm just as good as I'm better than this person. Like, how is this person going ahead of me? So I know that had to be tough on him. But they say like some guys use that as fuel, and they're like, okay, everybody that passed them, you've seen that before. Okay, everybody that passed on me, I'm gonna make them pay. And to his credit, on the field, what I'm saying, when he got on the field, he was, he was a beast from I would say freshman year, from rookie season. He was a beast. So, but I know it had to be like mentally, he had to be messed up because he thought he was going.
Second round comes, doesn't get drafted. Third round comes, doesn't get drafted. Now, what I found was interesting and funny is after every time the draft was over, as soon as it was over, agent called him right there.
Yeah. Try to keep him, keep him engaged, man. You know what I'm saying? Just, just try to keep his spirits up. Because you think about this though, like you are a top tier athlete.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And part of especially like skill positions, part of their thing is their ego. Wide receivers, and even though he was a tight end, but he was a star. To be a star and to know that you're that damn good, and then to have to, but we are human, so you need that. You need somebody to call you, give you a little pep talk. His agent was doing the right thing, keeping him engaged.
It was just like I said, everybody's telling you're gonna be first round, okay, second, third, and it's just keeps going and going. He ain't giving up. He thought it was over. You think he accepted it before, like, because it was fucked up. I thought it was crazy. He got picked dead last.
Yeah. I don't know. I think once, because remember too, I think a lot of it had to do with who picked him, right? He got picked for, Boston is right there. Like Connecticut and Massachusetts, they border each other. So he was going to be able to be home, see his mom. I mean, he got his mom too, but his brothers and his brother and his aunt, he was going to be there. So I think even though, he was hurt once he got drafted, well, you seen the euphoria. They run outside, they hugging, you know what I'm saying? So
oh yeah,
I think initially,
much has changed.
Yeah, initially, he was definitely hurt, but you know, once he got drafted and who he got drafted to, I think he was determined.
Was good, seven.
Got a special guest in the house.
Oh yeah, the lady started off.
Just
Now, what was funny about his recruiting is the recruiters did not want him, but Bill Belichick wanted him.
right.
I
Yeah.
thought that was funny because they were like, "We just got a wide receiver. We do not need him." But Bill saw something. He
Yeah.
saw something.
Yeah. He started talking about that double tight end, and Bill Belichick's a visionary. He's a football visionary. So, and he's a lot of the concepts and things like that, especially on defense. But a lot of things came out of the mind of Bill Belichick. I'm a Giants fan, so I remember him as a defensive coordinator with the Giants years ago. So and I think he started to envision, and they knew that this dude was a first round talent. You know what I'm saying? He's a first round
Oh
talent.
yeah, they all said it. It was just
Yeah,
his history, the weed getting in trouble and all that, which it makes sense.
yeah.
He got lucky. He got very lucky, and so that's pretty much how episode 4 ends. He gets drafted to the New England Patriots. All right, we get to episode 5.
Hold on, we got a celebrity in the house. We got Santa Claus is Santa
What up,
Claus is
Santa?
Santa Claus is here. Yeah.
Shout out to the Trolls. We appreciate all y'all. Now, episode 5, like the other episodes, this opening scene was hilarious because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was caught so off guard with it. So pretty much after you go to the NFL Combine, you have to go to classes. Now this was something else I didn't, I guess I should have known, but they send these niggas to like school for a month
Right,
where they teach them about money, investments, staying out of trouble, women, all that stuff.
right.
I think the opening scene was some guy had some drugs on him and he was sitting there playing the game and the cops raided the place. It
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
it was funny as fuck just to watch.
yeah. I like well, all the leagues do that. They have people come in. Sometimes they'll have somebody that some shit happened or somebody that fucked up. They'll have them come in and speak to these guys. So, but it was literally like some guys I'm sure, but it literally like was describing how Aaron Hernandez life was, where he would be sitting around with guns,
Yeah.
and drugs, him and his friends just kind of hanging out. Um, and so I thought it was funny that they used that scenario because he every 2 or 3 other cutscenes, that's literally what he was doing, sitting around with his friends with some so that's what they're
Bronze glasses. There we go.
okay, yeah. So I thought it was funny, but that didn't deter him. The homie, he was not deterred.
Hell no.
He's still gonna be in them rooms.
Oh no, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So Aaron meets the team and the coaches, and him and Bill get off to a rocky start.
Yeah, he so we've heard the stories about Bill Belichick and the Patriot way and all of that stuff. And Aaron's a bit he's a bit of a, he just
Class
him.
clown.
Yeah, he's a goofball. He's a, what I'm saying? So he was just being himself though. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, like if they did their due diligence, they knew who he was. They knew what they were getting. They knew who they were getting. It's just a matter of these guys are so confident and so sure of themselves that I'm gonna draft Slanda and he's gonna conform because this is what we do here. So the initial meeting, it's like, neither here or there for me because I think a lot of people get culture shock from what I've seen and the articles I read and the interviews I've seen when they go into the New England Patriots, whether they were rookies or free agents. There was like a little bit of a culture shock about once they got there. So, I still thought like, no, and that's the thing, knowing the outcome of this, you have to kind of remove yourself from the outcome. But I was just trying to put myself in the mindset of like, okay, yeah, they knew they were getting. They thought they could, tame him, so to speak. But yeah, we know how that turned out.
Yeah. No. So that happens. So then I guess this is something they do each year when they get new players and whatnot. The team has the mixers with the owners with Robert Kraft. So he goes and asks his old high school crush to the mixer with him. She ends up going with him. I guess they were high school sweethearts. You could say they dated in high school a little bit.
Yeah,
He
they
had a lot going on.
yeah. And he picked he knew enough about her to know that that room that he was going to be in, she was going to be the one. Like he
Oh
chose
yeah.
her to be the one to be in that room with him because I think he kind of knew what kind of people were there and he felt like she could navigate. So I thought that was cool that, you know, he picked her to go there. But they both it was a little too stuffy for both of them actually. So they got up out of there.
Oh well, before they get up out of there, him and Bill have a conversation.
Mm.
Bill's trying to figure out what he can do with Aaron because, like we said, he already had a wide receiver with Gronowski, right?
Yeah, he had the tight end Gronkowski.
Tight end. Okay, yeah. He had a tight end. So he suggests to Aaron that he should play wide receiver instead of tight end for him.
Right.
And then, like
Um,
you said, they get out of there. And then after that, him and Shay go on a date and they start dating. And then the start of the season happens. And I will say they did shoot like I know they weren't like real games, but the way they shot that shit, it looked so real.
oh yeah, them hits. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they definitely those definitely seem like real hits. Um, not NFL speed because NFL those do like if you up close you see how fast they run and how hard they're hitting. It's a different thing, but yeah, no, the scenes were good. Definitely good scenes, and they emphasize a lot of head contact. Like they wanted to like show you that he was taking a lot of hits and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah.
They wanted to show you that, and then that he was trying to be tough as well. They wanted to definitely emphasize that. I think that's why I was saying. I think they the in the backdrop of the CTE was kind of like always there. The way they did things, and when they showed the football scenes, they made sure to make sure they made sure that you saw like head to head contact or his head hitting the ground or him getting up slow or him looking like having to have to refocus his eyes. So I think the CTE thing was the or at least the concussion thing was always in the backdrop, especially in the football scenes.
Oh no. Yeah, like I said, they did a really good with balancing all that. Like you said, it was in the background the whole time. And like I said, the drugs and the paranoia and all that. No, it was a good balance with all that. You could tell he had a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, for sure.
He had a good first season. All right, so he's in the league. So his aunt throws a party for him. His mother shows up with the uncle boyfriend. That turns into a situation. You can see that okay, so a part of having paranoia and all that, you can see he still has some anger and management issues.
Absolutely.
His girl and everybody has to break it up, like, yo, you can't do this right now. Everybody's looking at you, you're a star, all this. So it was the scene was I feel like the scene was good because like I said, it was you got to see a little bit more of the dynamic where his mom and his aunt really just did not like each other. And then you saw
Right.
like how he had an issue with it where, it's for you. Of course you want your mother there. But like I said, he also loves the aunt like she's the mother. It was,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was good. It was sure.
His aunt seemed to be like a really powerful figure in his life and somebody he could lean on. And she also seemed to, I don't know if they'll get into because I think I only finished like 6 or 7, but his aunt seemed like she knew that he was living a secret life because she
Why
would,
not? Yeah, they get to that.
yeah, so because the way she talked to him and the way she wanted to like let him know that she was safe. Like like I'm here for you, whatever you need. If you want to talk to me, like she seemed to do that a little bit, and she definitely cared for him. She definitely, wanted to, make sure that he was okay.
Like I
And
said, second mother to him.
yeah, for sure. And less on the surface, less drama, like with her antics, but she also kept her house was like a place where saying where people kind of get like the like the drug dealing gang members kind of gathered at the
Oh
aunt's
yeah, yeah,
house
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
So uh,
I was with the shits.
yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. His aunt was with the shits, but she cared for him enough to try to provide a safe space for him. But he was holding on to that what I'm saying, he just did not want to be outed. So he wouldn't share with it. Well, at least up until what I saw, he wasn't sharing with his aunt what was going on.
So they have like a little after party at the aunt's house. Like you said, the drug dealers, his friends, his thug homies is there. Like I said, they just having a little after party. It's a little kickback. They all chilling and whatnot. So we get introduced to now. Remember, we told you on the first episode, the opening scene, it's just him and this guy. They're in a car. He shoots the guy in the head, then throws his body out the car and just drives off. So we meet the guy that he shoots in the head. His name is Sherrod.
Yeah, Sherrod.
Sherrod the shooter.
Yeah, and he rightfully so. He followed him to the door after
Oh
after
yeah.
talking that shit. He said, Sherrod, oh, the shooter. Let me let me go clear this up real quick. And which it threw me off because the by the time he shot him, by the time Aaron shot him in the when they were driving, it looked like Aaron was the more dominant person. But when they first met, like he was, what I'm saying, he revered Sherrod because he was a shooter. So I found
Who's
that,
scared of him?
yeah, I found that interesting that from the time they met, the dynamic changed. Like, oh, okay, this is the same guy from before. But when he when you saw him first, it looked like Aaron was like Aaron was big dog, but now when you see when they actually met, Aaron was like, yeah, afraid of him. So it was an interesting change of dynamic.
No, their whole dynamic was very interesting. Just seeing how it started, and like I said, once you finish it all, then to see how it ended and whatnot. It's very very interesting. So like you said, they go to the door. Sherrod gives them a pep talk, gives them a high five, gives them a bag of weed. So that kind of starts their friendship.
Yeah, and you know, if you move in certain circles, Sherrod is a useful good friend to have
I need
around.
a plug.
Yeah, you need a good friend like that. You need somebody when you come back home that's gonna make sure you good. But the flip side of that is that um, they are who they are. Like having a shooter on your team is good in a shootout, but not good for business if you're trying to go corporate, so to speak.
Sherrod told Aaron, if you need some bread, you can give me 10,000, I can flip it. You
And
know
he
how
was,
many
he was
women have given they fucking what is that, tax refund to get flipped and never
but
received a dime out of that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Sherrod came through, gave him bags of. Well, you know what? That's later on. I'll leave that on. Um,
Sherrod, shout out to the plug.
yeah, and but again, and that's the thing. Those guys would like make sure that you was okay. That made sure like the dudes who was like the star basketball players or the athletes made sure you was okay. But um, they also, being associated with them, especially back then, even now, but back then when you were like when you're going to be in college and stuff like that, or in the pros, they look at your hanger-ons and they investigate all of them guys. So maybe not a good person to have around you if you, like I said, if you're trying to go corporate, but you definitely having somebody like that around. Maybe you need to hire him for security, but maybe not, because he might.
Oh no, you get the fuck away from him.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what I'm saying. The dynamic changed so much by the end, by from the first. I didn't. I knew who the guy was because I saw him testifying. I saw the actual guy testifying with the messed up eye, because he lost his eye when he got shot in the face. So I saw him in the real life guy, but I didn't know that he started out as like, what I'm saying, he started out being feared by Aaron. But that shows you how deep Aaron was in his paranoia and how he got so full of himself that he felt like, yo, I could just take this guy out. He wasn't afraid of him anymore. He was afraid of him outing him about that the other situation. But we talk about that another time because they don't we don't get to that in this in the first five, right?
Nah, 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 nah.
Okay, all right. Let me leave that alone. All right,
Still
cool.
gets through on the next file.
Okay.
So, like I said, they in the future now. He's already playing for the Patriots. The physical therapist comes to see him. That was he was messing around with when he was in California with his agent. He comes to see him. They end up spending the night together. And Shay's out with her friends, and she's talking. Well, she's out with the other football players' girlfriends, and they're all talking how they get cheated on and whatnot. So they kind of put that bug in their ear. And like I said, him and the physical therapist, they spend the night together. So she thinks he was out creeping all night. So she's blowing his phone up in the morning, all that shit. He sneaks out of the hotel room and goes home and tries to tell her he was at practice and all that. But once that bug of him cheating is in her ear, she can't shake it.
Yeah, but technically, if you listen to what he said, he did not lie because he said there's no other women.
You're right. You're right.
So he was, and so he was able to say that with a straight face, like there are no other women. There are, you know. So technically, he was telling the truth, but he was lying either way. And yeah, that was
Yeah,
wild.
she
Like,
was black living.
yeah. Oh, so you could watch Living. You could watch documentaries, but also on Hulu. There's a 10. This is what we talking about. There's a 10 episode. What would you call it? Docudrama?
No, it's like a reenactment. It's like
Yeah.
the OJ story and stuff. Like I said, the guy who did it, the producer, like they did OJ, they did Versace, they did the Clinton scandal. It's the guy that does American Horror Story.
Okay. So yeah, it's well done too. Um,
I don't know, all the other ones are real good.
yeah. Now this was like I said. I didn't when initially I saw there was 10 episodes. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. I got to do it because I know we had kind of talked about it or whatever, and I wanted to like make sure that I was prepared. And I was like, how am I going? But it was so good. It was so well done. It was so well done that like I said, and then it took my algorithm down a rabbit hole of all things Aaron Hernandez. So real,
Oh, it's a crazy story because I mean you got to think here. He went to the league, made a $40 million contract, you know what I'm saying? Went pro, was out here just shooting people, living that life. Then, had a wife, had a kid, it was messing around with men on the side the whole time. Like it's a crazy fucking story when when you just hear it like that. Then when
yeah,
you actually look into it, and it's like, oh shit.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, living life that he did have CTE. So
Oh yeah.
uh, so it's not speculation. They had the doctors actually put his brain up next to a normal 27-year-old brain because he was 27 when he passed. But yeah, yeah, definitely. If you guys, because we're gonna do episodes 5 to 10, we just got to figure out a day for that and
Oh yeah, yeah. Give y'all some time to check it out.
check it out, man. So we could have that discussion and have you guys engaged even more. But it's really well done. I'm sorry. Were you under touch anything else on 5? Because I want to ask you a question.
Oh, no, you can answer good.
What did you think about the casting? Like, I think everybody kind of looked. You know how sometimes you watch something
Yeah.
and you like, yo, this don't look nothing like the person. You know what I'm saying? I thought the casting was really good. Like the Kraft, Aaron Hernandez, Bill Belichick.
The
It
chick
came,
that played his girl looked just like her.
yeah. I thought really like they really did a good. Like you watching it and you can get lost. And this dude was the Aaron Hernandez dude was Aaron Hernandez
Oh
for me.
no, he was a great actor. I just wish he'd have been like a little, like they'd have put some shoes on him to make a little taller.
A
You
little
feel me?
bigger,
Like he
yeah,
looked like he was just like 5'10". You feel me?
yeah,
But
yeah.
nah, that he was a hell of an actor. I'll give him his props for that. But now, chick that plays Shay, no, she looked just like her.
Just like her, the Kraft dude. I don't know
Just
his
like her.
the agent, and the Bill Belichick dude, the demeanor. You know what I'm saying? I watched Bill Belichick doing his interviews and stuff like that, and watching this dude, he had the whole demeanor, he had the voice cadence. So I thought that's also what made it good too. Like good casting makes, like when you do something like this, good casting makes a difference.
Oh, that'll make it or break it.
Yeah.
And like I said with the guy, only thing I had like was his height. Other than that, like you said, that was Aaron Hernandez. He killed that.
Yeah, and because Aaron Hernandez is a big dude. You know what I'm saying? 6'4", whatever, 245, 250. Like that's a good sized guy. And yeah, they could I guess what they did, because Aaron Hernandez was bigger than his brother, but I think in the show, I think his brother might have been a little taller than him in the show.
Yeah.
But I think Aaron Hernandez was a little bigger. But other than that, man, I thought the cast was good. I thought the acting was good. And the episodes flowed. I had a good time watching it. I think I'm on like episode like 7 or 8. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Believe it or not, living life is kind of easy for these guys to, because they have like they'll do like a check of, they'll do like a count, and then they'll go about their business and leave these guys alone. But it's, if you look at like some of the notes he left, some of the he left things with scriptures. But there was also, oh, you know what? I won't get to. There's something that happened specifically that so the thing about it that he had, there was two. I don't want to get too far ahead, but there was 2 trials. So he got convicted in one trial, and then he got acquitted in the trial of, he got acquitted in his second trial. So he actually unalived himself after he got acquitted in the second trial.
Mm-hmm.
But something, it's like the his secrets came out more public, like
Yeah,
right
it came
before
out in the second trial.
yeah, right. The secrets came out, and it's specifically like on a radio station, they had been, like making jokes, about him, like literally, it might have been like the day before. Anyway, let me leave that alone. I gotta.
Well, no, when he also knew something was wrong with, and I feel like something else that like made him do that the way he did it and whatnot is what's the dude's name? He shot himself in the chest because he knew, yeah,
Junior
he
Seau.
heard about that, and that
Yeah.
made him think, oh shit, maybe that's what's wrong with me, and
Yeah,
I feel
Yeah.
like that played a role in what he did.
yeah. But that channel. Let me see if I can find this channel so you could take a look at it if
I'll
you're
definitely look at it.
interested. Let's see. It's called.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but just wait till you see how they check someone's brain for CTE. The process, I would have never thought that.
It's called Aaron Hernandez Jailhouse Phone Calls. All right, that's a channel. There is 289
Damn.
videos of audio of him talking to different people. His fiance. It's a lot of stuff with his fiance. He talks with his aunt. Talk to his mother. Like there's 289 videos, audios of him talking to you actually can hear him talking to the people in his life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, 289 videos at this point.
That's wow.
Showing him at the gas station, showing the video of him in his house after the shooting. Yeah.
Nice. That's no, I'm definitely gonna listen to some of these. And it's like, how the fuck do y'all get this?
Yeah, and post that thing.
Shout out to the information act.
Let me see if I could. I was just looking at it. Where'd it go? Let me see if I can post it in here. I can. Oh, no, that ain't what I wanted to do. Yeah, we definitely want y'all to tap into this stuff because it'll help with the conversation for sure. All right, here we go.
I say stream. Don't skip this.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, definitely. You definitely want to go watch it on Hulu.
Yep.
I think that's it right there. Yeah, so you can actually hear him talking and see some of the videos and stuff like that they use in the courthouse. I mean, in the trial, and it definitely will contribute to the conversation. Yeah, I think this is such a fucking good idea that you came up with, and included the name. Slanda picked the name, the concept. So I'm just kind of along for the ride. That's why I was like streaming to both channels, because, like, you know what I'm saying, I was messing around with the, you know, with the thumbnail and stuff like that, but the idea is so good in this particular one. What made you pick this one first anyway?
I just watched it and it was a good show. It's just because this has been out for like a couple weeks now. And like I said, I just finished the last episode like 2-3 weeks ago. I just thought it was a good show, you feel me?
Yeah.
And then when I kind of talked about it before and I saw like Chad had said he watching, I seen this couple of other people said they watch it. So I was like, hey, fuck it, everybody fucking with it. Let's see what it bang like. Hey, you like it, so I mean,
Yeah, nah, man.
anybody I've told to watch it, they fucked with it. So I was like, hey.
Nah, I fuck with it, man. I like I said, I'm a football fan, and I'm kind of familiar with the story, but I wasn't as familiar as I am now with it. Like now I'm like, oh, it's so many layers, there's so many different things. There's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 different documentaries. This is something that's separate from the other documentaries. So
And there's hundreds of documentaries on YouTube about it too.
yeah, interviews and like knowing that a lot of this stuff was going on behind the scenes, and then watching him talk and interview and watching people talk about him and stuff like that, it just made him that much more interesting and compelling. So yeah, man, this is like an easy, like, you know, sometimes when you're doing content or you're doing something like some kind of research or something like that, you gotta take a 20-minute break and you gotta, man, I don't know if I can get through this stuff. This was so easy.
Oh yeah, and almost the show kind of humanized him, because whenever you heard about him back in the day, he just shot a bunch of people. You feel me? It's like, okay, now I get it. He
Yeah,
had the CTE. He was paranoid about, all his little secrets, the drugs, the weed. You feel me? They dive a little deeper into what other stuff he did.
yeah,
You finally get to see like the other side, and it's like, I'm not gonna say I get it, but okay.
yeah. Things make a little bit more sense. And again, like the whole well, that's later too. I don't know. It's just always hard to, because like I said, it sent me down such a rabbit hole. I started getting all kind of information, getting way ahead of the end of the story.
Yeah.
But it's still fascinating to watch it unfold. But it's just so much stuff going on with the with Odin Lloyd's, his mom, and
Wow.
yeah,
That was
and then that crazy law. Like, Stephanie be good to talk about that law that they had on the Massachusetts books, that I forgot what the term is, when they remove the conviction because the person dies. It's like so many layers to this story that like it just wasn't about Aaron Hernandez. There was so much other stuff going on. And then you think, like, even now, I saw that his fiance, she still posts on Instagram with his daughter. Like, his daughter is, you know what I'm saying, on Instagram, and she's on, and the fiance is on Instagram, and he's still kind of, his life and his legacy is still kind of hanging around based on what he left behind. So it's so interesting.
especially just like because his daughter was like a baby when all this happened.
Yeah.
And like she's still young enough to where she's not, what I'm saying? She's not really know what the fuck going on.
Yeah.
But one day she might actually watch this, you know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah. I mean, it's out there, and his life and his history is out there. So maybe they'll try to keep her away from some of the negative stuff. Because
I think you can.
yeah, I think well, up until she's able to just kind of, kids are able to access information fairly early now, so you probably can't. It's
Especially
probably
if she goes to school.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Hernandez.
yeah, 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 and she's, like I said, she's visible on social media, so people know, oh, that's Aaron Hernandez's daughter. So yeah, she really can't escape it, but I can't even imagine that either. Like living your whole life and that person. And I know this is like one particular person, but when you think of like somebody who, because for all intents and purposes, dude is like if he was going around just if he had like a type, so it's like say if it was like you know just say it was like prostitutes and he was just killing, he would be labeled a serial killer, right?
Oh yeah.
So for all intents and purposes, dude is comparable to a serial killer, and as a child of somebody who could be potentially that, like, how do you navigate that? And as a parent, you want to you want to shelter your daughter or your son, but eventually the world, and it's an unforgiving world, you know what I'm saying, and information is out there. um Eventually, yeah, yeah,
I'm
she,
surprised by that too, Liv.
yeah. And it's not, and if you, I don't know if you're familiar with the mom and the daughter, but yeah, they definitely are posting on social media.
Well, I mean, well, she got kind of like, I don't want to say famous, but she was definitely out there more after he died because, she brought awareness to, CTE and just his whole situation because she was with him to the end.
Yeah, and then remember the dude that he actually got convicted for killing. It was her sister's boyfriend.
Yeah,
So
that
that
was
messed
crazy.
up. That messed up the relationship between sisters.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's so many layers to this story.
I think it was just three. Yeah, it's just three people living.
Yeah, for sure it was three that they're alleging, but he got acquitted of um, the two in
The
Boston.
double. Yeah, the
Yeah, the
double.
double. Yeah, yeah. And their family, to watch their family be in the courtroom. It's so many layers to this. Like yeah, you definitely, like I said, I was watching this. I was like, this motherfucker got me into. I gotta watch. I can't even watch episode 1 through 5. Like I gotta, something else came across my button, and then I'm like, okay, you doing a show. Don't cross this with that. Make sure you know what I'm saying. Stick to what this is about. But there's so much freaking information, man. So much information.
Hell yeah. Like I said, it's a good show. Just wait till I can't wait till we get to the next five because the next five, that's when like, okay, obviously shit gets real. You get what I'm saying? It leads up to all the other stuff that happens. We find out about, like the stuff in Boston, then the brother-in-law situation, then prison. Now, next five, yeah. You said you on seven, yeah. Just where you at? Eight, nine, and tens. Wow.
Yeah, man. Okay. So and you saying it's wild. I'm like 1 through 5 is wild. Especially they start you off and hit you, and then you're like, okay. And then they bring you through this stuff. And and I gotta admit, like at some points I'm like uncomfortable. Like I'm like, yo, this is some, you know what I'm saying? I'm I'm a film reviewer now, but I still have my personal like man. And some of the stuff is almost like a thriller where, like you said, when they're interviewing him and they talking to him and they asking these questions and the shit is on his mind, and I'm like, oh, or he's out doing some bullshit, and he come home and the girlfriend is like, so where you been? It's like, oh shit, here we go, here we go. You know what I'm saying? I'm nervous right along for him. And it ultimately it doesn't matter, but that's how good it's done. That's how well it's done, is that they got you emotionally invested in it. So it's really, really good. I'm telling y'all, just watch it. So far, it's been really good.
Now, see, y'all lucky that it's all out. Imagine watching this shit week to week.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. That shit. Oh man.
So you was watching it as it was coming out, so you had to wait till
Oh
the next week.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
So now it's 10 episodes deep for me, so I can just um and that's the thing. I was in the middle of watching like the Penguin, and I was like going back and forth. I'm like, nah, I can't. I gotta stick on to this because this um it's I, again, man, just I watch it, and then the next episode come on. I'm like, oh, shoot, I got an hour before I go to work. Let me watch 35 minutes of this
I
and
swear.
spend 15 minutes getting ready for work. Like that's how it is for me.
No, I swear because it's like you're the fucking NFL. What more can you do? Like, what more can you do? Is like you hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars right now. Like, why? It just it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's a fun watch.
It makes you feel like something definitely was wrong because, like the average person, you basically through hard work and a lot of pain and stuff like that, but you basically, it's like a lottery ticket to go get a $40 million contract, and then what I'm saying, like right before you sign it, you just knocked a couple of people off, like what I'm saying, and then go smile and sign the contract. Like unfathomable to be thinking like that somebody would be doing those type of things, because we feel like a lot of us who don't have that kind of riches, we feel like, yo, if I could just have a little bit more money, I'll be good. I won't be mad no
Everything
more.
be great.
I won't be mad. I won't saying it be my problem. I won't have to, but you know, the fact of the
That's
matter
crazy.
is, yeah. Are you
He got
good
his
for a little bit?
team to the Super Bowl
Yeah. Are you good
and
for a
then
little bit?
couldn't go because he was prison. Oh
I
no,
wanna,
I'm straight G.
yeah, cool. I want to refresh my drink. I'll be right back. You
No,
hold
you
it up.
good player.
All right.
All right, this is the intermission. But he go get a drink. I'm gonna go. Switch something up. All right, y'all. Y'all talk amongst yourself. Divine, hold down the chat. Have you watched the show, Stephanie? Have you seen it? Like I said, it was just one of them shows. Like I said, it was good. It's got the sports, so you can watch it with your significant other. It's got like all the drama shit. So no, it works out perfect. It's a two for one. No, it's very good. And then like I said, the first five, it's one of those. It does such a good, building up because like I said, if you heard this story, you feel me, you know everything that happened. It literally just, it builds it up, breaks it down. I don't feel like they overdid anything or overtold nothing. Like everything that they put in there and explained, I felt like should have been there. You feel me? It was a great story. Oh, my bad. What are they saying in the chat? Oh, Steph, you got to check it out. Steph, if you got Hulu, watch it out. American Sports Story. Yeah, American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez. Definitely check it out. Now, the case was crazy. I'm surprised, honestly, that the case did not get more coverage just because of how much stuff went on. Even like the second case, like I get the first case, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like I get and I understand that, like, that would be, the first one. So of course that'll be like, televised and talked about or whatnot. But the second one was just as fucking crazy. That was a double. Oh no, I believe it, Steph. It doesn't get talked about like that anymore. Like I said, it just kind of came and went. Which is wild because, like I said, so much happened with the case. So much happened. Like he got exposed to his wife, for sleeping with men on the side. Like, nah, that shit was wild. Nah, it was just like I don't know. Like I said, you feel bad for him because it's like like I said, just talking about it in like the first 5 episodes, you can see like the three incidents that like got us here that, changed his life forever, that made him and sculpted him into, the situation that he's in. Sign a contract for what, man? I got another one for y'all. I'll wait till brother gets back, before I tell him about that. We can watch that one. Stephanie, I'm glad you're here. What is your thoughts on the Menendez brothers case and then, potentially getting out of prison after all this time? What's your thoughts on that? Yeah, it's on Hulu. It's on Hulu. There's a documentary on Netflix about this, but Hulu has like the little, TV story about it. Definitely, yeah, check it out. I got the Disney Plus package too, player. I already know. I already know what you be watching on there. You watch Agatha, you be keeping up with all the Marvel shows, seen Loki.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, I am refreshed.
Welcome back, player. Welcome back.
Oh man. Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Man, I can see, sign this contract. Yeah, you could. I think he did it before, and so
No, I think it was after because
oh,
remember they went to court for his daughter to get all the money because he died.
oh yeah.
But Steph, let me get your opinion on the Menendez brothers getting out.
Wait. They're getting out.
Oh, brother, I got another show for you if you want.
Oh, okay.
So this guy, he does like it's called Monsters. The first season was about Jeffrey Dahmer. The
Okay.
second season was about the Menendez brothers. And it's like the Aaron Hernandez thing. It's like reenactments and all that.
Right.
This came out like in October. This was like done so good, so great that the people have spoken, they petition, and the Menendez brothers are potentially getting out of prison after all this time.
Oh wow. The same. She's saying same
Yeah,
producer.
same producer. Right, what's Ryan Murphy?
You mind if I drop the link real quick to see if
Oh
Stefan?
yeah. But no, so see, I'm sure you remember that case and all that. But now check that out because it was about that. And like I said, after all that, they potentially are getting out.
Wow. That's been a
Doc.
while too. That's a while.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like the show was fire. The show was crazy. That's on Netflix. Y'all check that out. That was crazy.
Excuse me.
Yeah, he did Versace. He did the OJ story. He did Versace. What was his third one? It was OJ, Versace. There's another one. Then he did the Clinton scandal.
So the same guy that doing the Aaron Hernandez thing.
Yeah, because like Aaron's show is American Sports Story.
Right.
Then like OJ and Versace was American Crime Story.
Okay. Yeah, we could definitely get into that. I wanted to ask Stephanie about that that law that oh, here she go. Let me just authenticate her. Hold on, let me use my actually yeah, that's her. All right, cool.
What it do, guys? How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Living the life.
So I don't know. Honestly, maybe I shouldn't hit the link, but because I'm not sure what the basis of the Menendez brothers release is. I just know that it is sometimes. Now I'm always pro defense. I always say let them all out. Let them all out. Just we'll figure out something else to do. I don't. I think it's a fucked up system. It's barbaric. We got to figure something else out. So anytime defense wins, hell yeah, I love it. However, it is sometimes problematic when legal shit happens as a response to popular opinion. Produced by maybe a series of documentaries. Coverage on YouTube. Things like this that can sway the public in a way that's like, oh, maybe we should have thought about that first. You know, case in point, the Britney Spears controversy. You know,
Yeah.
obviously, it's like, you know, we weren't hearing the whole story about how bad off the woman is, you know, and not to say that she should necessarily be under conservancy, but it's like, I'm not sure that we were should have been so sure she should have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the Menendez brothers. Let me look at something real quick.
Yeah, and I got another question for you too, because they part of this Aaron Hernandez thing, this whole thing changed. There was a law changed in Massachusetts. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Yeah, this is gonna be fun, Slanda. I like this idea.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry.
You cut out though.
Okay.
She's looking something.
So, yeah, no, I was. It actually is sort of I mean, the Melendez brothers they are utilizing a pretty common illegal technique on appeal where they have found allegedly new evidence, right? Because
Yeah.
it's hard to get your conviction overturned just by rehashing the old stuff because the appellate court will say, like, the jury heard all this and disregarded it, right? So you're screwed. But if you find additional evidence that couldn't have been found during trial, then they could say, like, well, there was stuff the jury didn't get to hear and you couldn't have found it even if you had tried because it was hidden or, you know, new witnesses have come forward or something like that, right? And so that is oftentimes really the only way you could get your conviction overturned. So it looks like they have some new witnesses that were not available at trial, or were either they weren't didn't want to talk about how abused they were in the household, and so I guess and I think an aunt or something like that. So that is good. I mean, yeah, that's not so much just like, you know, the state of California got a petition. And that's kind of what I was worried about. I was like, oh, you know, state of California got a petition, and now it's like, oh, yay, you know, because, I mean, it's a tragic situation, right? I mean, no matter what happened and no matter the reasons for it, people are still dead, right? And these people, the two brothers, their lives are ruined, you know, so I hesitate to make people whose convictions are getting overturned, you know, like celebrities or heroes, because all around, this is just a bad situation. And just because you got convicted of a murder you should have gotten convicted of doesn't necessarily make you, you know, some kind of like, you know, Christ figure, some kind of Messiah. And I think sometimes people get wrapped up in that when they see these documentaries, you know, and it's like, I don't know, you know.
This one. It's like it was such a hit on Netflix and everybody loved it and they felt sorry for him. Like you said, they're getting it reopened. Another documentary came out. I think it was Ricky Martin, and he was like, "Yeah, their father had, you know, n-worded me and all this when I was younger." So yeah, it's just crazy to see, like I said, a show like this get something like that to happen all these years later.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if y'all remember the phenomenon of Making a Murderer. That was another big Netflix one where
that was a good one.
Yeah, you know, they came back and you know, perhaps framed these two guys that had, you know, kind of you know, they thought had sort of dodged the bullet on some crimes before, and so the police had an agenda, and you know, there's false confessions and all this. And there was a counter story that a lot of people were not buying, them being like these, you know, innocent victims of the police. Now, I don't know. Like I said, anytime the defense wins, I'm for it. But, you know, sometimes there's more to the story. Things can get sort of twisted when a lot of attention gets put on something. And so, you know, I think this is in this instance, Aaron Hernandez is dead, right? And so, yeah, there's no legal proceedings that are going to be affected by the documentary.
Oh no.
But I think like it can be it's kind of playing with fire. It can definitely be a double-edged sword.
So speaking of that, were you familiar with the abatement situation with Aaron Hernandez that Massachusetts still had in effect, and then they end up changing it?
I don't know. We have something like that here in Texas, but it's we call it a posthumous exoneration, or basically like you can acquit someone after death, even though the case is essentially over. I mean, you can't really acquit them. They're gone. But is it something like that?
It was actually, let me pull it up so you can look at what this AI overview is, so you can look at it. That way I don't mess it up. Percent. Here we go. All right. Can you see that?
Hang on, let's see. Oh my gosh, I need reading glasses back.
I got mine on.
Yeah. Actually, that same thing happened to Tupac. And I think actually that is I'm surprised they had to pass a law because, well, at least here in Texas, right? If your case is up on appeal, even if you've been convicted, which that's the only way really an appellate will take an appeal, right? Because there's nothing to be appealed if you weren't convicted. So, say the case is on appeal, you've been convicted, but you've taken it up to the higher court. Technically, at least here, your conviction is not final because the appeal is pending. So if you were to die with the appeal pending, technically, even though the jury the jury said not guilty, or the jury said guilty, if the appeal is pending, your conviction is not final, which means you really haven't been convicted yet. And
Right.
so, you die without a actual conviction for whatever the jury convicted you of, technically. That's actually what happened to Tupac, because when he got convicted of that sex assault, but he had an appeal pending in New York when he got killed, and so technically he never actually was convicted of that sex assault. He died without being convicted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess in this particular case, the family of the alleged victim wanted to make sure that it was on record that that Aaron Hernandez was convicted, and they changed. It looked like they changed the law in Massachusetts. They called it, when I was watching like a documentary, they called it, they called it an archaic law from years ago, where when you were like you said, when you're in appeal, you're technically not convicted. So, and he died, but they also was like theorizing that he did it to make sure that I don't know, it was something else like that, his daughter and his fiance or his wife or whatever can get his money, because he has signed a contract. And,
his $40 million contract.
Yeah, $40 million, and the Patriots were going to fight that, and it was just like there's so many layers to this. Because
a lot of those big celebrity contracts have a morality clause, right? And you're in breach. I mean, especially if you're convicted of something like this, you'd be in breach of the morality clause, right? And so they would probably find that the estate wasn't entitled to any of the payout. But if he died without being convicted, then maybe they'd have a fighting chance to enforce that contract. I mean, they'd probably have to litigate the shit out of it, but they might have a fighting chance to enforce that contract to get that money.
Yeah, and I think the owner, Robert Kraft, is a billionaire, so he would push that thing out to the point where you couldn't possibly, unless you had those deep pockets, you couldn't possibly stay in court as long as he could.
Stay on it. a lot of these lawyers, especially like high rollers like that, like somebody that would get that case, they'll do these things where they will loan their clients, the plaintiffs, money as long as the litigation's going on, and then they basically take the whole settlement. I mean, you have to pay them back out of the settlement, right? Um, and then it's all covered by insurance, so the lawyer doesn't even really lose anything if they actually lose the case. I mean, it's a bunch of shyster stuff. I don't do that because I don't do high stakes, civil litigation like that. Obviously, there's no reason to loan my clients money. Their freedom's on the line, not their pocketbook, right?
Right.
And so I mean that's a lot of these lawyers will do these like almost like 3-card Monty where they're shifting all this money around, and if they win, they keep everything. If they lose, they still get paid. They don't really lose anything because insurance will cover it all.
See, I didn't know that there was insurance was involved with it as well. I didn't realize.
Yeah, and tax write-offs and all that kind of thing. So they really don't actually end up losing anything by loaning their clients all this money to keep them going, to keep them in litigation.
Are you like whistleblowing right now? What's going on here?
No, well, I mean, I guess maybe kind of, but I think this stuff needs to be exposed because lawyers, I mean, our trade, our profession is just, I think there's somebody on YouTube that likes to call me a shyster. They don't even know what a shyster is if they think I'm a shyster. And some of this stuff is just wild. I don't even. I'm glad I'm not in these big firms because I don't have to see this stuff. I don't have to know about it. But I mean, there's a reason. I mean, there's bad things have to happen to keep the economy going, and lawyers are totally a part of that. Absolutely.
So I've been speaking of that, I've been watching. I got so many of these damn freaking apps. I gotta delete. I gotta get rid of some of these things. But I got I've been watching the Lincoln Lawyer series. Are you familiar with that?
The one with Matthew McConaughey, right, where he's in the backseat of his car. That's why he's called the Lincoln Lawyer.
Yeah, but there's a series now.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was the movie. So they turned it into a TV series. I didn't know that.
It's on. Is it on? Where is it at? Slanda, is it on Netflix?
I haven't watched it, but I've heard of the series.
No, it's pretty good. Lincoln Lawyer series. Where is it at? It is on Netflix. Okay. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's pretty good too. Yeah, it's so much like now that Slanda opened the door to some of this stuff. There's so many different series and TV shows and movies that we could review.
Yeah, I think that it's a nice break. It's original content, as they say. We don't got no content, but I think this is good content.
And it's always good to have somebody, a lawyer or somebody at least like intimately involved in which I wanted to I wanted to talk to you. I had mentioned that I had testified in a case. It was an essay case.
Oh.
With having to do with a college student, and I was the
first responder.
I was the first person that it was reported to. I'll say it like
that. Okay.
And, but anyway, I had to. One of the things that I found crazy because I hadn't been involved in anything like this. First of all, I showed up to court. I was supposed to be testifying for the prosecution because I got deposed. I was at the deposition for the prosecutor.
Wow.
Esposito here in Connecticut. So I was supposed to be testifying on the for the victim,
the state,
alleged victim. Yeah, for the state. I ended up testifying for the defendant because of my actual role in it and the things that I observed or whatever. But
oh wow.
One of the things that was interesting to me, and I tell people this, is like during the break, because if you're not testifying, you're just in the hallway.
Yep.
You go and you dress up. You got, and I'm not a person that wears suits, so I had to buy me like a couple of some slacks and some. I'm basketball shorts, sweatpants, hoodies. So I had to buy a couple of outfits. So I was supposed to testify. Well, I didn't know when I was going to testify, but you got to show up, and you
Right.
got to show up. So I was in the hallway. But one of the things I found interesting was that during the breaks, the prosecutor and the defense attorney was so friendly outside in the hallway. So you got this dynamic of the victim's family, the alleged victim,
Mm-hmm.
the accused family, the
Mm-hmm.
prosecutor. Like when there's a break, everybody's in the hallway, like
Yep.
right near each other. Everybody's talking. And I found it interesting that the prosecutor and the defense attorney were like really friendly, and they were having a good time. Like I was in the hallway, like, and I'm thinking, like, what did the alleged victim and the accused, what are their families thinking as these
Right.
two people clearly know each other? They clear their first name basis, they
Mm-hmm.
talk. And anyway, I ended up like, it was such an interesting case too, because at one point my younger brother was in the jury poll, and you know how they announce who the witnesses are going to be, and if you know any of these witnesses, then you get disqualified from the jury pool. So my younger brother was on the jury pool. They disqualify him. I went there like three days in a row, no testifying. Then on the fourth day, I believe, the prosecutor told me that she wasn't going to use me. She introduced me to the defense attorney because they had this running joke that, you know, me and my brother looked alike. So she's like, hey, this is so-and-so's brother. And he's like, oh, you look just like your brother. And, you know, we joked around like, yeah. I said, well, I'm older than him. He looks like me, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, well, I'm not going to use him. He's like, well, good, I'm going to use him. So I had to go then meet with the defense attorney about, you know, what I observed and all of that. And, you know, one of the things he told me in that meeting was like, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to ask you specific questions. Now, this is, you got to, for me, like, I'd never been in this situation. So I'm sitting across from this guy, and he says, I'm going to ask you questions. Only answer my questions. And he's smiling and he's talking, and he's like, and if you try to deviate from answering my exact questions, I'm going to bury you on the stand. I just want you to know that. He's saying it's with a smile on his face. I'm going to destroy you on the stand. So only answer the questions that I ask you. And anyway, I ended up testifying. The other thing was the prosecutor during all this stuff, she recruited me to her volleyball team because she was like, oh, you're tall. I got this volleyball team. You want to play my volleyball? It was like being a part of that. It was just like this crazy situation where, like, when you think of court and a case and all these things that happen, like, these are some of the things that furthest from your mind. But it was a crazy situation where it was so many things in play. The thing that I found interesting was the prosecutor and defense attorney. They clearly knew each other, and they were just, you know, talking in the hallway during the breaks. So that's my testifying story.
Yeah. I was actually just talking to Propane about this on his like one of his last lives last week sometime. And yeah, I mean, I think I think you're being professional to each other because, like, unlike me, like, you're not I don't know you while we're trying a case. I don't know you. I don't like you. You know, I've had to be dragged away from prosecutors that I've been really mad at. You know, my co-counsel's like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. There's deputies everywhere. You know, keep it together. Save it for the Christmas party. You know, whatever. And I'm just like, because I'm furious. You know, it's like, how could you even fix your mouth to say that about my client, or to even think you're going to do that, or that I'm going to let you do that? You know, a variety of things that I've been mad at prosecutors about. You know, to the point where it's like, you know, I'm mad enough, you know, to reach out and touch somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
And but you know, and I think, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be that adversarial. But I think you're right. Like, it is very off-putting to the people who are involved, because I think it sends the message that at the end of the day, we matter more to each other than y'all matter to us, which is bullshit. That's not the way it should be.
Right. I would, if I could encapsulate what I was thinking, that's exactly what it was. Like, yo, this is just odd. Like I said, in the whole, like, recruit me to the volleyball, it was just like all this stuff where I was like, yo, this is weird. Like, we in the middle of a essay case. We
Right.
are talking about potentially joining the prosecutor's volleyball team. And what am I supposed to say?
Yeah, I'll think about it. I don't know what you would say. That's a very strange thing for a prosecutor to do. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, you're tall.
Um,
Do you play volleyball? It's like, well, I play basketball. She was like, I got this volleyball team. And they happened to be in the same um like building that I was playing basketball in at the time. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I know." And you want to play volleyball? I was like, "Yeah, sure." I didn't play, but I was saying whatever I
yeah,
had to say to kind of,
right. Okay, lady. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
so odd, so odd.
Yeah, I heard a very popular law tuber um talk about how she's a white lady, very very and she was talking about how she's telling the story about prosecuting um several men who were not the most famous hip hop artists, right, in California. This was in LA, but they were sort of up and coming. They were becoming sort of known in the area, right? um and she was using their lyrics against them. I mean, just very, very how would we say, um not culturally competent at all, very, just very out of touch. And I mean, she said some other things that it was just like, wow, lady, you are you're out of your element, Donnie, right? And but she would talk about how she would, when her and the other prosecutors would go to lunch during this trial where they're
Mm,
using the lyrics against these men, they would
mm,
listen to those lyrics, have a great old time, sing
yeah,
along, you know, uh, turn it up really loud. They have a grand old time. Like, lady, do you hear yourself right now?
yeah,
Like, the lack of self awareness is astounding.
yeah. I yeah, it changed my idea of what actually. So now when I'm reading stuff or I look at trials, I know like the possibility of all these other things going on that really have nothing to do with people's whether somebody's guilty or innocent or acquitted, or let me say acquitted or convicted, let me say it like that.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely made me let's see, it definitely made me look at things a little different. And but it also
Yeah.
made me a little bit more sharper in my job, where I tell people, listen, when you write a report, when this
Mm-hmm.
could go to court, do not look at it like, oh, it's just a little. No, because when I got deposed, it was in a room full of it was probably about 10 people. My media supervisor, my director, like it was a bunch of people in the room, and they're going through my report at approximately this time. They're going through these things, and you're answering these questions in front of all these people. And if you've never been to court or you never had to testify, you might feel like, oh, if you go like 100 times with this stuff being routine, like I go to this call, you got a laceration, I
Mm-hmm.
painted you, stop the bleeding, blah blah blah, and or whatever the call I'm responding to, like, and it doesn't go to court, you kind of get in that mode where, oh, it's just another whatever, it's just another responding to a intoxicated individual, and you never know if
Right.
if somebody's gonna wake up the next morning and say, you know what, I want to press charges, or I want to, and in essay cases, you know,
Right.
potentially that's going, that's a go, like, so you want to cross your T's. But I tell people, I don't care what it is, cross your T's and dot your I's, because it could end up in court, and then they're gonna be looking at your report. So now here I am with the prosecutor looking at my report and questioning everything in
Right.
my bosses, and I have to answer, like, what I'm saying. So it definitely changed
Exactly.
the way I do my job, but it also changed the way I look at some of these things. And it definitely was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I that's yeah. I have told policeman just, in passing. Well, I mean, I guess, I've known cops my whole life because my dad was one, but, and he says this too, write your report like you're going to have to rely on it to testify. Because you might. Yeah. Yeah. And, and there needs to be a level of, I guess, detachment where it's like, you're not invested, like, oh, I need to make sure this person gets convicted, so I need to write a really good report. Some police would think that way, but at the same time, it's like, you just want the proceedings to be accurate. And so, and then also from a personal standpoint, I would hate to get on the stand and look like I don't know what I'm doing because, just saying I don't know a lot. I didn't write it down. I don't know. I didn't document that. I don't know. It ends up looking like the jury's looking at you like, oh, is this the people that are out there in society trying to help us? Because they don't know very much. It's just like, it can be kind of, I think, unnerving for people to have to say I don't know a lot.
Absolutely. If I'm giving you O2, I'm gonna put the time down at 23:42. I gave patient O2 at 23:43. Pulse ox, all that stuff. You want to document those things because whatever the case is, you want to make sure that you can answer these questions. And I don't have a problem saying I don't know, but when it comes professionally, I don't know. Too many I don't knows, kind of,
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's like on the stand, you don't want to say that because it just gets like these jury's eyes are on you going like, why don't you know? And that can't be a good feeling. I've never had to experience that because I've always been the one asking the questions, but I could see it on their faces when it's becoming a pattern of them saying, I don't know. And they're just feeling like the weight of that. Like, oh, I wish I had written this down, or I need to do better in the future, or, whatever's going through their head. It's not a comfortable experience for them.
Absolutely. And you got, in the lawyers, they set you up with the little softball questions. So, Mr. So-and-so, so you do this, you did that. And they set you up with this little, like, and you feeling good. And then, but the good thing about it is, like I said, the defense attorney told me pretty much what he was going to ask me. And he said, do not, like, he was basically like, don't grow a brain and don't try to elaborate. I'm going to ask you specific questions. Just answer the question. If you try to elaborate, I'm going to destroy you on the stand. Do you understand? And this is, as we're having this conversation, you and I right now, you and I, Slanda, we were talking like that. And he was just like, if you try to elaborate, I'm going to destroy you on the stand. I'm just letting you know now. So just answer my questions. And it was an eye opener, but I wasn't going to try to elaborate anyway. I'd seen enough shows to where I knew, I'm just gonna answer the questions that was
answer the question. Yep.
Yeah, but he let me know, like, don't do that. Don't try to give me your opinion. I don't do that anyway. My reports are reflective on the facts. I don't put my opinion in anything. It's just the facts. I can't, doctor somebody's vitals or what somebody said to me. I'm just gonna write down what they said and what I observed. But he just wanted to let me know, like, don't do that, because I'm embarrass you on the stand. Nobody wants to get embarrassed, so I just,
right.
With that.
I have a question, and then I've got to run because I actually have to go to 5 counties over for a murder case tomorrow. Speaking of,
I appreciate the time. Shit.
Yeah. Well, it's not. We're not going to trial tomorrow. It's a pre-trial to figure out if we're going to trial, but. So, do you have to write narratives in your report, like patient said X, reports that this was caused by, XYZ. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're a patient, I'm going to ask you, like, since you're saying like you had you had chest pain, I'm going to ask you what you were doing for the chest. Like, these are all things that I'm going to include in. So what were you doing when you first felt this chest pain? Do you have a history of heart? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to ask you all these things. And those are things that I'm going to note for sure.
And it's really, and I think this is true, although I don't really know for sure, which is why I'm asking. You don't really like down what the patient's saying, right? You just write down what they say and that's it, right?
That's it. I don't, I'm not looking to, combat your story. I'm just looking to, and I tell people too, it's like, I'm only putting what you tell me. I can't, saying, if you tell me, like, for instance, if I ask you, have you been drinking tonight, and you say no, but I can smell alcohol in your breath, I'm going to note that there was the smell of alcohol. But alcohol, diabetic issues can cause your breath to smell like alcohol. So I'll note that there was a smell of alcohol, but I can't, if you have diabetic issues, your breath can like alcohol. So it won't be a situation where you're
doubting. You're writing something about the veracity of what they're reporting, right?
No, just what you said.
Yeah, because I get into little issues with the prosecutors, basically using the narratives of the narrative a medical professional wrote based on the statements as evidence that it's like almost like the medical professional is endorsing the reports of the patient. I'm like, no. They're not saying one way or another. They're not commenting on the accuracy. They're writing what the patient told them. Absolutely. So I'm glad I was accurate about that, because I've gone after prosecutors more than once about that. Because I can't see, EMS or a doctor or a nurse saying, "Okay, are you sure? Are you sure?" And that's not what they're there for.
Yeah. So for instance, like if it's something like that and somebody's, potentially under the influence, like I'm going to, first of all, with the patient or potential patient or subject, I'm going to ask you questions based on your safety. So I'm going to, when I'm phrasing it, because a lot of times people don't want to say certain things because they're worried about getting in trouble. And I'm not here to get you in trouble. I'm here to help you. I'm here for your safety and your well-being. So I'm going to ask you because I just want to know what I'm dealing with. So like if you tell me you you're dealing with opioids, and okay, and Narcan might be the thing that I want to, So so I'm just asking these questions, and when I report, I'm not reporting my opinion but one of the things I can do is talk about your vitals. So if you tell me, like, no, I didn't have anything to drink, I didn't take any drugs, but I can talk about your heart rate or your oxygen saturation, and those may be indicators of things, but they don't mean anything absolutely. They just may be indicators.
Right. Yeah. So, I encounter that a lot with family violence calls, and they complainant is going to be transported, and the first responders are just writing down what she's reporting. They're not saying like it happened the exact way she's reporting it did. They're not investigators. That's not their job. So they just write something briefly. Patient reports that her husband punched her in the face twice, and then that's it. And it's not like and this for sure happened because of X, Y, and Z. No, but prosecutors seem to run with this. It's like, well, that's what she told the EMS. It's right here in the report. Like, well, okay, but that's not evidence in and of itself.
No, you have to put, it's facts. You're not trying to put your opinion on something.
Right.
You could put the facts. You could put there was swelling above. You can put all those things in there, but you're not gonna. In my opinion, that came from
Right. Right.
The most you can do is say something that's consistent with something. You can't say for sure anything is, you can't absolutely, because you're not testing. You're not, going under the microscope to look at a finger, a knuckle print. You know what I'm saying? You can just say it's consistent with, a blunt impact or something like that
Right.
at the most.
Yeah.
But I don't even think people do that. They just gonna say a hematoma to blah blah blah, and most people don't care about the medical terms. So you just kind of above the left eye,
Right.
That's
Right. Yeah. It's just I think it's just laziness on the part of the prosecutors. Just like, well, it's right here. Yeah, I get that. This is not an interrogation. this is what she reported. They wrote it down because that's what she reported, and that's just the narrative of the incident as she reported it. It can meet a hearsay exception, but it's not. I think sometimes they try to act like it's been endorsed. Like there's been some investigation, and that's just how it happened. The doctor said so.
No, because essentially, like, my certifications are on the line, so I'm not going to add or take something out that's gonna, this is my certification. So,
right,
and that goes down the line of, okay, so where did you get your certification? So now they're gonna go, okay, is this what you're teaching? Is this I'm trying to think of echo hose is what I got my certifications under. So they're going to go to echo hose and they're going to look at their curriculum. They're going to, what I'm saying? So I'm not going to
right.
your what is it called? Scope of, I had a couple of drinks, so I'm a little bit off, but
it's outside your scope of expertise.
Yes. So like can't, so there's no reason.
Hey, don't worry. Like we talk about outside our scope of expertise in this sector all the time.
Listen,
so
I looked at your what is that called under your name?
My title there.
Yeah, I looked at your title as soon as you came up. I was like, okay, yeah, she on that type of time tonight. But yeah, we do talk, but I mean, and again, I'm not representing any.
Of course.
I'm just saying, because I don't know if people realize this, like, even though I'm EMR certified, like I can if I'm driving down the highway, I don't have any stickers or anything on actually I do have emergency management hang tag. I probably should take that off my mirror, but I don't have to pull over and, help in an accident. But if I do, there's a Good Samaritan,
right.
There's a Good Samaritan law, so I can help out, things like that. But I don't have to do anything. I don't have to stop. I just keep on going, minding my business. So I don't represent anybody when I'm off duty per se. But, we know that people have reached out to people's jobs and stuff like that. So
yeah, yes, they sure have. But I work for myself, so that mean old lady, that you're gonna reach when you call my office. The mean old lady named Stephanie Collins. And what you gonna do? That bitch should have fired me a long time ago, but she didn't. So, I think it's too late.
And you are a sector lawyer, so we can't we can't have you firing yourself and not being available for some of this stuff.
That's true. Yeah, it's I don't even want my bar card anymore. If they want to take it, like, come on, please. I don't want to be part of a bar association that would have me as a member anyway. So go ahead. I've been waiting. All this time. Please make me go work at Starbucks. Please. I think I'd be a lot less stressed.
Stop it. Slanda, all this talk of testifying and all this stuff. Slanda said, "Let me be quiet. I don't want no part of that."
I'm trying to imagine Stephanie as a barista.
Oh, I'd be terrible at it. I'd be screwing up all those drinks. I'd be like, "What did you want? That got alcohol in it? I don't know. What is that? What's a venti? Is that the big one or the little one? You tell me."
I could see you getting yelled at by what's the guy's name that does those restaurant? John.
Is it? Yes.
I could see you getting yelled at with your customer service abilities and your drink serving abilities. I could see you getting yelled at.
Yes, absolutely. I'll probably spill half everything I make. Oh, it'd be terrible. Terrible.
Mm-mm.
I actually knew a guy whose bar here in town got made over by John Tafferty, and it was a disaster. I mean, it was a disaster before, it was a disaster during, and it was a disaster after. And it's needless to say, that establishment is no longer operating. But Tafferty made it over into a steampunk bar. Just like, that's the wildest, stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
What is a steam pump bar? What is that?
Steampunk. Steampunk is this, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a aesthetic. It's like some people are into, goth, some people are punks, and then there's like a sector of people, a segment of the population who are steampunk as their sort of aesthetic or whatever.
Mm.
And it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a mix of goth, but like also like there's a lot of gears involved because they're like back in like, it's like a throwback back to like the 1900s before there was motorized vehicles. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't know it. It's beyond me. And to remake an entire bar that was like a sort of street punk, like hardcore bar into a steampunk establishment was just a terrible idea. It was a terrible idea. And they did not last long with that going on. They were underwater very quickly.
So it's gone completely?
Yeah, completely out of business. Sad.
Was
it was one of the
personal friend of yours?
I wouldn't go that far. I hung out a lot in that bar back when I was drinking, but I didn't particularly like the owner. I thought, if John Tafferty had had a good idea and he could have been, able to sustain it, he really did need the help. I mean, he really did. But I think it was just a match made in hell because John had a terrible idea, and even if he had a good idea, the owner wouldn't have been able to sustain that. So I think it was just a matter of time. But the steampunk remodeling did not help at all.
Were the drinks at least? I know you don't drink now, but were the drinks at least good?
I mean, if you like whiskey and Lone Star beer, I mean, it was definitely like a punk establishment. Like it was like like 3 member bands like yelling from the stage and shit, and just like people getting really drunk really fast. So I mean, it was like whiskey shots and cheap Lone Star beer, which is a Texas beer.
Okay.
Nothing fancy about it at all. You could get totally drunk for $10.
Listen, if you're a drinker, like now, how long ago was this?
Oh gosh, it's going on 20 years.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because like you get totally drunk for $10, like for somebody that drinks in today's bar, $10 and get drunk like that. Yeah.
There used to be a bar here in town that would do $5 beer and whiskey shot combined for $5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that was very popular. They do it one night a week, and it was like, I mean, it was it was shoulder to shoulder in there. And I will say, and I think when we filmed the reality show Sizzle Reel, we went to that $5 beer and whiskey shot night at that place. It was a different place, but we acted so bad in there that the network that was going to pick up that reality show said, we can't put y'all on TV. So
is there footage of this?
It's somewhere. I think it belongs to the producers who were going to shoot this thing. And I don't know what they ended up doing with it. I guess they just probably canned it and, it's in some warehouse somewhere or something, or on somebody's computer.
What about you? Do you have footage of this? Could you send me?
Oh, no.
Oh,
no, because it was proprietary. So I mean, it was before like cell phone cameras and shit. This was a long time ago. So yeah, it was fun. Let me tell you. I remember bits and pieces, but the parts I remember, it was fun.
If you remember bits and pieces, that means that's very appropriate for this Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
A lot of wild, crazy times.
I tell you, I'm glad I survived. I'm glad it's over. I had a good time, but I had enough. You got to know your limitations. And yeah, I hit mine like a brick wall. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did early enough. You know.
Well, I mean, listen, all of us that are of a certain age,
That's right.
not like the young Slanda. He's a little younger, so he's still kind of going through it. But yeah, man, surviving where we just didn't have any regard for our safety and our well-being. We just wanted to have a good time. Surviving that is a big deal. And as I'm way more salt than I am pepper these days,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to reflect back upon it and laugh a little bit. But
Oh.
and I mean, you like in your early 40s, so you're not even, you're not
No, yeah, I'm in my early 40s. Well, I'm in my mid 40s now these days.
but even then,
Um,
even back then.
yeah, but my dad always tells me it's not the age, it's the mileage, and
Yeah,
he means it when he says that.
yeah, no, I agree. I definitely
Yeah,
agree. But
yeah. I got my hair cut the other day, and the woman just straight up asked me. She was really good at what she was doing. I mean, she's very talented. I liked what she did to my hair, but the first time she started, she goes, I mean, right when she started getting on my hair, she says, "When'd you start going gray?" Like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
It's been a long. I mean, I'm 51, so it's been at least 15 years when the gray started kicking in. So, hey, what's going on, Gail and Knight? Appreciate you for stopping by. Yeah, it's been the grays come in, and at first I was thinking about coloring them, maybe in like the first couple of years, plucking them out when they came in one at a time. But then when they started coming in at 20, 30 at a time, it was just like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, my mother dyed hers for the longest time. She fought it. She fought the good fight against aging. But I'm not doing that shit. I'm not. I don't think it's worth it. I'm actually proud that I've lived as long as I have, because I think there were wagers out there that I wasn't going to make it to 45. So I'm not going to fight aging. I'm just going to be who I am. I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to diet. I'm not going to get any Botox. I'm not going to do any of that shit. I'm just going to be the old lady that life is going to have me be. And
Absolutely.
if it's graceful, it's graceful. If it's not, it's not.
You'll make it graceful. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is though, like I saw this. Speaking of like, I was watching this. It was on Vince McMahon. I think it's on Netflix. But there was like this point where I think when he was doing like when he went public, something happened where he like dyed his hair black, completely black. And it looked so strange because you knew he was gray. And then he showed up with his jet black hair. And I think about doing that every now and then just to shock people in my life. Like, but I think like people will be like, yo, really? Like you really, you just gonna show up a day later when I saw you white with jet black hair.
Do they still sell that men's hair dye in a can that you just spray on?
Yeah, I don't know.
You remember that from the 80s? I think actually Rudy Giuliani was using it because when he started sweating, it would run down his face.
Yeah. I don't know any of them products. You know what I'm saying? I'm just.
I used to see it on TV, but like who watches TV anymore? I don't even know if they make commercials anymore. But I used to see that. Like, it'd be like probably like daytime-ish when they would advertise that product.
Yeah. Gail and Knight's asking, where do I know Stephanie Collins from? Well, she is a counselor. She is counselor. She is a lawyer.
Do you maybe the T sector? Because I hang out over there too.
Okay.
I used to cause a lot of trouble over there. I've retired from my troublemaking.
What you was doing over in the T sector? What's going on over there?
How did did I get involved in that?
Have you ever been to the lead attorney's channel?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The lead attorney. I used to go over there a lot, actually. I I had a rather I thought it was a goofy disagreement with him because I thought his opinion on it was goofy. And I was just like, I don't understand why we're disagreeing on this. It's obviously, I thought he was obviously wrong. And, and so I kind of stopped going over there because I thought he was kind of, I thought he kind of got Charlemagne the God's case wrong. And I thought it was basically for, to come up. And he did. He really did off Charlemagne the God. That's how he made his bones. And I think he had that case all wrong. And so I was just like, I finally got frustrated. It was just like, dude, I can't anymore. I think you're not looking at this like a lawyer. You're looking at this like a blogger. And I just can't. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. Plus, I think I got into a big argument with his chat once about men demanding that women who are on their like in arrears on child support like doing everything they can to draw it out of them. I'm like, I don't think that's worth it just to prove a point. And it was just a big mess. And so I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to step back from lead attorney. I really like him though. I think I think he's a really interesting guy, and he's good on him. He's making money over there.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been subbed to him for a while, but when he was he was coming up, and he was he's a smaller YouTuber, but man, yeah, he's grown. He definitely knows how to, he's definitely good with content, and
yeah.
So I don't know.
I should check him out. I should see what he's doing these days. I just couldn't get over that Charlemagne the God analysis. And I was just like, oh, I can't. I couldn't do it after a while. It just drove me crazy.
Right. Do you feel like if you are gonna do like content, if you're gonna do law content, would you feel like you would just do it as how do you balance like content strategy versus just messaging and what you want to get out there? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it depends on the goal, right? Because I think a lot of law tubers, they want to get big, and they want to be known. They want to make money off YouTube, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. But I don't know that would. I'm not sure that I would get into it for those reasons. But I also think that maybe you don't think you're going to get into those reasons, but then get into it for those reasons. But then when it kind of starts happening, then it's like, ooh, let's get some more of this.
Yeah, like if you dive into your YouTube studio and you start looking at your analytics, yeah, like you can, like I know what would make my channel grow, like quickly, but not actually what I want to do.
Right.
So I just kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I know there's certain things that I can do and certain topics that I can touch on that would, push me in the algorithm. But it's like, you have to have the energy to do that. If you have the energy to do that all the time, because once you start down that road, people show up to your channel expecting that. And I kind of want to just, but yeah, and then you have a specific profession that you are. So if you are, what do you as a lawyer, how do you introduce yourself, or how would you, if you were gonna do something, like what would you call yourself?
What would my moniker on YouTube be?
Yeah, like if you were really gonna push your content, what would you call yourself?
Because I don't think I would. Obviously, I would want to separate that from the sector. Obviously, so it wouldn't be. I don't know the law as well as Smoke does. But I think I've called myself different things over the years. I don't know. I used to call into the Wiley show and introduce myself as Stephanie the White Trash Lawyer. That was hilarious. But Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that because yeah, you only get one shot at that, right? If you want to change your name, it's a whole like campaign of rebranding. If you've gotten like some traction, and
Right.
I think that can really hurt. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I've never really thought about even doing content, so I haven't really thought about it.
Yes, and then like you said, once you decide that's who you're gonna be, you kind of gotta stick to that
Right,
because you can build up an audience of people who tune into that, and then all of a sudden you say, yeah, I want to do makeovers. I want to do some not knitting. What is it called? Crochet. I want to do I want to be Stephanie Collins, the crocheting lawyer.
right,
You know, people in people that tune in, like you got 20,000 subs for being the white track, whatever you said, and then uh now you're gonna be the crocheting lawyer, and it's like, so you got to stick to that, but you got to have.
right. Yeah,
That's the thing about pigeonholing yourself into something specific. So you and I know you saying you never really thought about doing content, but you have a perspective. I always tell people, man, just even if it's just you just documenting your journey, why not? Even if whether it grows or not, it's one person comes in the chat and you can engage with them, why not? And you have a perspective, and you can be polarizing, right, to some
yeah.
people. So why not?
Oh yeah,
And why not?
yeah. And I have kicked myself multiple times for not jumping in at various points on stories that were huge, and I felt like I was the only one who saw things different. I mean, there was Charlemagne the God, but especially Ti and Tiny
Mm,
back in 2001, early 2001. I felt like I was the only one that didn't think they were one going to get arrested, or two, that there was all these. I don't want to get into it necessarily, because it's very controversial. But it was like everyone was salivating at how guilty they were, how salacious this was, all the things that they had allegedly done. And I was sitting there going, I'm not sure, that this isn't all adding up to me. I wish I had gone and started a channel then to start talking about it, because it was just so. It really bothered me that there was no alternative perspective, and I should have done that, and that I've regretted that.
but there's still a lane. Like there's so many. Whether you're just gonna go the litigious route where people are suing each other, or you're gonna go crime prosecutor versus defense versus, what I'm saying, there is definitely lanes for you where if you want to, you can still do it. You have the knowledge, and there is you're not. It's not a lack of cases out there.
No,
You know what I'm saying? So if it's something that you still want to do, even if you do it part time, what I'm saying, you might actually uh learn to enjoy it. Like me and Slanda was talking about doing the uploads. I enjoyed this more than I think I would enjoy the uploads, the instant back and forth, because
right,
what I'm saying, it just, for me, it creates more of an interesting conversation. But I'm gonna open myself up to, you do some pre-recorded uploads, and there's a lane. And if you enjoy doing it, you obviously enjoy talking about it, you enjoy law, you do it as a profession. So
yeah.
um
Uh, I think uploads sound really hard, like editing and like trying to put it all together. That sounds really. Of course, I'm a technophobe. I'm a luddite, so I don't know how to do a lot of stuff, and it just sounds really. I can't even comprehend how to edit a video. I can't even like wrap my head around that. That's just not my lane. That's not my gig. And I'm sure I can learn, but it just sounds so intimidating to me.
I promise you can learn. So when I started, I've said this a couple of times, I started doing interviews and podcasts, just audio. I didn't do YouTube, I didn't do any video, just audio on Spreaker and Anchor. There was a couple of other things. Like I would do interviews or conversations, edit, release them. I started doing that, but I didn't know anything about it. So I had to go on YouTube and find ironically enough, I went on YouTube. I found like what kind of microphone to get, what kind of audio processor, what kind of how I could edit, like all this stuff. Like I just went on and found.
That's true. You can teach yourself anything from YouTube, I think.
Yeah, so that's really how I did it, and it was like a year. Like I didn't like jump into it because obviously you got life, you got work, you got family life and stuff like that. So I just researched, and then when I felt like I had enough information and knowledge, that's when I did it. And then eventually I just said, oh, you know what? Video. I want to do video. And I had to go and look up cameras and look up, different microphones. And, it's
Yeah.
not, if you can navigate through law school and know law and recite law and get in front of a judge who is clearly pro prosecutor and state your opinion, yeah, you can do YouTube.
Well, thank you. That's really encouraging. That's very nice of you to say, actually.
But you're not
Yeah.
gonna do it either way. You're like, it's nice. I'm still ain't gonna do it.
No, I'm seriously thinking about it. I mean, there's been multiple times, like secta wise, there's been multiple times when I'm like, I'm gonna hit this live button right now. I'm gonna hit this live button right now, and I stop myself because I think I don't want to necessarily embarrass myself by just ranting on a live. I want to calm down, and then by the time I calm down, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah,
But I think there's gonna be a time. I think there's gonna be a time
yeah. And
when I do actually like real shit.
and embarrassing yourself is relative anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you look at if I when I go back to like the first couple of things that I ever did, um, and I listen to it, I'm like, oh man, that's just, but overall though, it's just documentation, and as I do more, I'm going to progress, I'm going to get better, and that's really the main thing. And the other thing is too, like I share when I had the you were there when I had the suicide awareness thing, where
Yeah.
one of the things that I appreciate is my guy that passed away. He still has a YouTube channel and his Instagram. Like there is something to be said about, like, you go to like some odd place and you'll see like a carving and it'll say Stephanie Collins was here.
Mm-hmm.
No idea who Stephanie Collins is, but somebody carved their name out. And this, I think, documenting your journey, whatever it is, whether it's a rant or it's a video or it's a vlog of you eating a pizza, whatever, at some random place. It kind of shows that you were here, and your family can look and go back and actually listen to your voice, see your face, whether it be at a just get a little bit of your personality. So I'm an advocate for documenting your journey. We used to keep those Polaroid pictures, right?
Yeah.
And then we had the black plastic bag, and then when you move from place to place, you lose those Polaroid pictures, and you wonder about whatever happened to this person, that person. So I'm always going to advocate for people documenting their journey. That's just me.
No, that's a good idea, actually. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's something to think about.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope you consider. I hope you decide to do it, regardless of whether it be detractors or people who are supporting you. Do it for yourself, and I think you'll enjoy it because you do have an opinion. You do hop on these panels and you do talk, and you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's just a matter of it being all on you. There is a difference. Don't get me wrong. There is a difference between you clicking live and you hopping on the panel, but once you start talking, you just being yourself, and I think people will tune in. I think you know that people will tune in if you did press a live button.
Yeah, for better or for worse. I think people would be there. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna drop down. It was very nice to talk to you. I've got to get ready to drive 2 hours tomorrow and then 2 hours back.
I appreciate you for stopping up. Yeah, I'm gonna close it down. I really appreciate it. I know Slanda left a message in the private chat. He had to go, so
yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been really nice. I really do appreciate this, and it was a very good show.
Yeah, we're gonna do episode 6 through 10. and we just got to figure out a day, and I will promote the shit out of it. And hopefully
Cool.
if you're available, you can come up and chop it up a little bit. Are you familiar with the show at all?
I'm familiar with the events. I remember when all this happened and how crazy it was, and just unbelievable that somebody with this much to lose was out there. We didn't know the whole backstory. It just looked like the guy had just gone crazy. Just lost it all for no reason.
Yeah, so much. So yeah, if you get a chance, if it'll give you a little bit more perspective. And if you check out episodes 6 through 10, and then that way you can definitely, you can at least feel like, okay, I know what the hell you guys are talking about. But
Yeah.
either way,
Okay.
Slanda seems to take good notes, and we'll walk through it anyway. So
Cool. Yeah, I've got a cousin that I think has CTE. He started developing grand mal seizures at 30 after playing for University of Arkansas. It's bad, and so it's a hell of a thing. How it can affect somebody. It's just so.
Yeah, grand mal are those that you can check out like from
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's different level of seizures, but them grand mal seizures is definitely nasty work. So
Yeah, it's scary stuff. Yeah, but but football. Hey, it's an American tradition. So what are you gonna do?
yeah,
Really,
yeah, and
like
those
driving a car.
and those just for people that, just so you know, don't be putting nothing in nobody's mouth. You just kind of got to move things out the way and let them. They're gonna go through those seizures, and then you attend to them when they're post-ictal.
Right.
It's the official term for it when they're coming out of it, if they come out of it. But definitely just I need to do one of these like first aid shows one day. But anyway.
You do, yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Good night.
Yes, thanks for stopping up. All right, y'all. Thanks y'all for we got 3 hours and 20 minutes in. I'm gonna check out. Thanks for Slanda. This was the first official show for Stream and Skip, and we will do. We did episodes 1 through 5. We will do episodes 6 through 10, and we also will jump into other other shows, other movies. Hopefully, we can nail down a day and time so everybody knows where to find us at, and we can make it more interactive. Although I do really like the idea of just doing that, those uploads. I'm warming to that Slanda. I'm warming to the idea of doing the uploads. But all right, y'all be safe out here, and we'll be back again shortly.